Okay, cool.
So, just some interesting facts when I was reading up on you. On cagematch.net, it lists you having only 3 matches,
I've had more matches than that.
and then it says it lists your MySpace, which is owned by someone else now.
It's owned by someone else.
Yeah,
I fucking canceled that shit. Why is it still open? Do you have a link to that? I'd love to see my fucking MySpace now.
yeah, here it is.
It's owned by somebody.
Who's
What
Carly? But
the, who the
someone's like,
fuck is Carly?
I'm gonna be Winwood one.
What an asshole, Carly. Fuck you, Carly. You know what? Let me see if I can find my ex on here.
Alter egos: Dino, Winwood, Robert Stamos.
That's what it has on there?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Carly?
Let's see. Overview. Yeah, 3 matches. Let's see what they list. They list your commentary career too.
Yep.
Dino Winwood and Ronan versus defeat Joey Ryan and C. Edward Vander.
I forgot about that.
They have the World War III 60-man battle royal with Little Cholo winning,
Yep, I remember that one.
and then Dino Winwood and the Aerial Express defeat Arrogance.
Yep.
Yep, that's all it lists.
Interesting.
I don't recognize any of these names in the 60-man battle royal.
There's a lot of names in there that not a lot of people know, but a lot of talented people.
Yeah, Joey Ryan, of course. Kid Carnage, I recognize that. Scorpio Sky, of course.
Hmm.
The Stepfather.
Yep, Stepfather. He's
And,
a SoCal legend in a
and,
ways.
and Redheaded Stepchild.
Yep. That. Shit, that's fucking weird though. That like, there's a my MySpace is now owned by somebody else.
I was like, okay, I need to like research on this guy, and it's like, okay, I got top 5 moves of Dino and Wood.
Uh huh.
I got that, and then it's like, okay, what else? Twitter, and then Invasion Podcast, and that's it. Oh yeah, and it says Dino Woodwood Super Dragon. I'm like, really?
Yeah. That fucking guy. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, and then you did an interview with along with Scorpio Sky and Quicksilver for another like 2 months ago.
Yep, sure did. It's on
Uh,
the Captain Comic Con podcast. I hate saying that guy's name because he's getting a lot of bookings and opportunities and shit when his name is completely ridiculous. Like, it really annoys me.
Captain Confessional.
Yeah, now it's Captain Confessional. I'm like, lose the captain! He's continuously asked me about like advice. I'm like, you need to drop the captain shit.
I would
Like,
be like, okay, name yourself Captain Khan and be a bad guy and be
yeah,
like, and just
even then, Captain Con would have been great, but no, Captain Comic Con. I'm like,
oh,
Jesus.
what you want us like a sponsorship deal?
I fucking guess so. Like, supposedly he got an opportunity with Marvel because of the whole Comic Con stuff. But I mean, unless I see results, that's neither here nor there. So.
It's so easy for someone to just BS that stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I
It's
know, man. I know.
like okay. What else did it say? Like it lists the cage side, so it's like okay, I'll get a lot of info, and it's like, oh, you've done a lot of announcing. You did like 3 matches.
Yeah, I did. I did a lot more matches than three, but
Yeah,
which I can talk about.
like and
But,
Mino just talking about this ahead of time, I can always splice it in later too. So
okay.
yeah, because
All right.
this
No, go
one,
ahead.
sorry, we have like I because I'm hosting it, like you have a 1 second delay, and it's like I'm talking over you.
Oh, that's fine. It seriously happens.
Yeah, it must be worse if like when you're doing like a new legacy stream or something.
Sometimes you just kind of go along with it if it's delaying,
Right.
and you just like, oh shit, are you serious? That's crazy. And then
And then they're
you,
already on like something else.
yep, exactly.
Yeah. It's supposedly with this Discord thing, it's supposed to stop it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's I think you guys were trying that out the other day, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. Okay. Um so I don't know how to start this. That's the thing. I've thought about it all day. It's like if I start this like, quiet and it's like, oh, state your name.
Okay. We could just start it however, man. I'm go with the flow. It just let it happen naturally.
Yeah.
We'll work it.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So if you're listening to this, good for you. My name is Gamebox, and I am talking to a wrestler slash manager slash impersonator, professional, unprofessional, your choice, Dino Winwood.
How's it going?
And today we're about to talk about the very exhausting, not nothing.
It's pretty much nothing. You don't have to flatter me, but thank you. It's very draining, I should say.
Career of Dino Winwood. So, as many people might not know, like, Dino got me into streaming.
What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
He was streaming Peggle. And I was
Are
like,
you fucking kidding me, Peggle?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, I want to start streaming when I was still in university.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm about to play Samurai Showdown. And you were like, oh, that's awesome. I haven't, seen that game in forever. Are you going to stream it? And I was like, I have this EdSplit subscription that I've been given by somebody for a year, so I might as well. And I started streaming.
Oh, shit. Well, dude, that's cool.
Yeah. Figured I'd start that off with a cool thing. So, Dino, where were you born? Just
according to my profile, I was born in Glitterstone, California, which is a fancy term of saying bellflower. It's a little, I don't want to say, it's like a nice ghetto area.
So it's like Linwood.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of like Linwood, and yeah, I was born there. I was born 4 of 4. And yeah, since then I was mostly raised in Whittier, California,
right,
but also going around to like Norwalk and all this other stuff. So
I don't know how I know about Linwood. I've never been to California. I just like Weird Al's from there, and he said that. He was like, like Linwood's like basically gangster, and I would just happen to live in the whitest neighborhood.
Yep, that sounds about right. And you went to San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
College. I know a lot about Weird Al, so.
Yeah. And many people might actually know that I think your real name is like Bobby Ramos, right?
Yes, my real name is Bobby Ramos, and I'm a Mexican. So.
Any like splice, are you just pure Mexican, or like?
I'm Mexican American. Like I'm kind of whitewashed. However, I still have knowledge of my culture, and I know some bad words here and there, and I know specific thing. I have specific things that I do. Like I fit the stereotypes. I love barbecuing out back on days, and I love oranges, and I love fat ass white women. So
you're basically an 8th grader in Spanish 2 right now.
I really, really am. Shit, if you have Spanish in 8th grade, more power to you. My schools were cheap, so
yeah. Yeah. Well, in like 8th grade, that I learned Spanish too, and it's like, well, you need to take 2 Spanish classes in high school, not middle school, to go to college. So I took French, so I took French instead because I'm not taking Spanish 4.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit of Spanish and French. I've only kept through cuisines and cooking.
Dude, that's awesome though. Like if you want to impress a chick or whatever, you just say the names.
Yeah, make some nice crepes with some creme fraiche and everything.
The clips.
Yeah, that's why in when the musical interview, I tried to say some Spanish when I said La Isla Bonita.
I'm like, what the fuck, La Island?
Oh, it's okay because Madonna's as Mexican as paper towel, so.
That's true. And she says English as a fucking grit. So. About as English as grits.
Yeah. So, where'd you go to high school?
I went to La Mirada High School. It's considered prestigious, but it's a piece of shit school.
Is it small or big?
It was a big school at the time. It carried like thousands of people. Like, if for some reason in the town they're like, "Oh man, if you want your child to go to a good school, you go to La Mirada High," and it's just like when I went there, I had to like find reasons to be happy. I'm like, I don't want to fucking go there. I want to go to an even shittier high school. I wanted to go there because my best friend was there. So
okay. Anyone famous?
Jenny Finch went to my school.
Oh, okay. I recognize that name.
Yeah, super hot softball player who retired a gold medalist, I believe.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, but she's super talented athlete. Never really got to like interact with her, but she seemed nice. Definitely very attractive.
Yeah. So you probably had a lot of stories of the teachers like, oh, I taught Jenny Finch in math, and like, oh, she was kind of okay, a little troublemaker.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She just walked around looking pretty and with her softball stuff on. So
Yeah. As you said before in certain interviews, that you love to basically just talk to people.
yeah, it's I find that communication and conversations are the best way to get to know people. I mean, that sounds rather kind of like but
Right.
yeah, I mean, I find conversations they can take a turn at any point. Like you can talk to somebody about what their favorite movie is or what their favorite song is, and the next thing you know, they're talking to you about their fucking life story, like what was the last time they got their heart broken or anything else like that. So that's why I at first I didn't understand it because that happens a lot when I talk to people. Like they end up telling me a lot of personal stuff within like the first few hours of knowing me or straight talking,
Right.
and I didn't understand it. I was just like, why are they telling me this? I didn't ask for it.
It's that.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine though. Like I grew up to really appreciate it because it's like, wow, maybe these people don't have anybody to talk to, and so I just became that one person who they can confide in or be comfortable enough to talk about what's bothering them. So I take pride in it now. So
It's like it's just a natural thing of conversation. I mean, if you listen to like other podcasts, like just for example, the Stone Cold podcast, he even says that half the time he's just telling his career
yeah.
when it's like talking to X-Pac or something. And you're like, okay, we just want to listen to X-Pac talk about his drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did a bunch of drugs and I got the Kool-Aid and poured it on my dick and I don't
Did you see his recent tweet that he said about someone asked him, "Have you ever Bronco busted China naked?"
know. Oh
And he
my
said,
god.
"I wish I could say no."
That's great.
Oh,
Oh my god.
like I so bad want to meet him. So like,
Yeah, I heard he's a very interesting individual. I'm trying to remember if he was on WSX or
yes, he
not.
was.
He was okay because there was a story at the time. Like, a lot of my familiar face friends were on there, and they said like X Pac would get super duper high before a match. Like he would just smoke himself stupid, and yet he would go out there and have just the best match ever. He's like one of those high functioning potheads.
He was at one point the what is it called? Oh, I can't remember the word for it. When like when Chris Jericho came in and in order to like make sure that he's really good, they used
Scout.
they had to make him go against X-Pac to see his talents and see if he can make it in WWE.
That's cool.
I forget the word for it. Stepping stone almost.
Stepping stone that could be good, or basing
Yeah.
stuff like that. Well, that's
Uh,
cool.
it, it's kind of like with like Farouk and Bradshaw were like that, like in for the
Oh.
tag team.
Oh, okay. So that they can stand their own against them, then
Yeah. Well, of
that'll be
course,
fine.
those two love to haze people because they were taught the old school style, and that's why Public Enemy was never in WWE.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. All right. So you said you went to college?
Mm-hmm. For
Um,
a little bit. I went to Fullerton Junior College. I did it for about a semester. Then I realized, oh, this is just high school, but I'm paying for it.
but you're,
So,
it's a smaller school, so you didn't have to pay as much in loans and stuff now, right?
no, no, no. But still, the fact that I had to pay for general education when yet I'd already taken 12 years of general education. It's just that the teachers are bigger dicks here. And I don't know, it just really wasn't for me. I was like, you know what? I did school for 12 years. I stressed over it. I damn near killed myself over it. I'm not doing this for another 4 years. So I just decided that, hey, I'm not gonna do college. I'm just gonna go straight to work and then I'm gonna go get training. And I mean, at the time, I really wasn't seeing eye to eye with my folks. So I'm like, I'm just going to do what the hell I want. If you're going to throw me out, so be it. I'm tired of doing a lot of shit, and when I don't get to a certain point that you don't like, I get shit on for it. So I just dropped out of college and started going to training and work.
Yeah, wow. Getting a little deep right now.
It's always deep. That's the
Yeah,
one thing you need to realize is that life has deep moments, and it's just a matter of how you deal with them. You could either giggle about them later, or you can still let it eat away at you. There's still some stuff that eats away at me, but
that's probably for telling for later. So
of course we're gonna get really depressing later in this interview. So
yeah, we're gonna start crying, hugging each other.
I only do that in private. So, and I'm eating a chili dog right now, as because
Ah,
I tried to hold off as much as I could. I'm fucking starving.
yeah, yeah. Honestly,
Real professional. Real
before
professional.
starting, I was like, oh, here's this like I have a Taco Bell taco over here because
Mhm.
for lunch we had Taco Bell, and I was like, oh, I just gotta eat it right now before I start doing everything. So you're going right into training right now?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, other than that, there's just a lot of depression and suicide attempts and chicks not really being interested in me. I don't want to kill everybody over this, so
Jeez. So who did you train under?
I trained under American Wild Child at the Rudos Dojo in La Mirada, California, which is the training facility of a defunct company in Southern California called Revolution Pro. This is I don't know when the English promotion started, but yeah, as far as I know, Revolution Pro was around I think late '90s is when it started. So
Yeah, I definitely recognize that name. So
a lot of great faces came from that place, even some faces that I want to hit with a chair. So
I think I know a couple of those. Any bad experiences or good experiences with training?
um,
Besides
not
the
so much.
besides the
Besides
fact that
what?
it's training, so
Mm,
so you're gonna be exhausted and broken down at times.
well, for sure. I mean, you're teaching your body to do things that you normally don't do. You're going to get run down. You're going to get bruised. You might even dislocate or break something if you're not careful. But I mean, I really didn't mind training because, yeah, I would get down on myself for not being able to do certain things that I wanted to do, but I was still making progress. And like it took me forever to get the courage to do a forward roll. Like
Yeah,
I'd be so scared that I would hit my head and like snap my neck. But quarter rolls I was fine, back rolls I was fine, even tigres, which are flipping bumps, I was fine with doing those. Oh, hang on, police.
we're looking for you.
Holler if you hear me.
Oh, I almost bought a Scott Steiner T-shirt yesterday. By the way,
Why?
it was it was just a giant face like the Obama one, except it was Scott Steiner. It said "pump."
I was hoping it said ha.
No, this was actually it was only $12, but then I saw shipping. It was like $12 for shipping. I was like,
Oh,
nope.
fuck that, man.
That's what it's like with like pro wrestling tees. I want to buy so many shirts, but it's like $10 for shipping.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You're putting it in a bag and you're throwing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you're doing. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Speaking of, you have a pro wrestling tees website.
Yes,
Is
it's
that still up?
collecting dust. It's
Yeah.
it's still up, but it's collecting dust. A lot of great designs from this wonderfully talented artist named Betty Nanners. Let me pull up her
Figured,
Twitter real quick.
yeah, I figured Twitter's Boo Nanners because we basically I started talking to her because of you.
Yeah, she's a wonderful wonderful person. I love Betty.
She got me into Jervis Con Belly. I was like, oh, this is like jabroni, and then it's like, no, this guy's actually got something.
Yeah, Jervis is an amazing amazing person. But yeah, at Boo underscore Nanners, pretty much like bananas. But she's a very talented artist. Without her, you wouldn't see a good number of those designs, and she busted her ass. So if you could go ahead and buy those shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com, that gets her paid. So
Yeah. Do you pick the prices on there? Just curiosity, or are you allowed to talk about that? Or
Um, I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to talk about it. I just can't remember. But no, but what do you call it? Yeah, I mean, even if I were to pick, like, if there was like a set limit for prices and stuff, I would still put it at the cheapest because, like, my self opinion is not too high. Like, I'm not a young buck. I'm not fucking Joey Ryan. I'm not Colt Cabana. I'm not CM Punk. So just like, dude, I'm just a guy. I'm a fucking ring announcer. I'm a commentator. I'm a manager. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna ask you to pay $25 for a fucking t-shirt. So.
it's something that you can live off, but it's not something you need to live off.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's cool, yo, you get to buy another beer tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, great.
It's like getting a random donation. But
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So training can be definitely hard. Like I'm trying to boost my cardio so hard, it's hard to do.
In-ring cardio is the most different type of cardio you can ever boost up because you're doing a bunch of movements in confined space. So you really have to prepare your body
Yeah.
for like twists and turns and slams and everything else like that. So ring shape, I will go on record saying this, ring shape is a totally different type of shape. You could look like a fucking Adonis chiseled from stone, but when you get your ass in the ring, you are going to get blown up. So
Yeah, take for example, like if you see like people like Brachus and everything wrestling, you can see just easily they're immediately sweating up and red and don't even know
yep.
when they're all just gimmick basically. See like The Rock recently when he was wrestling. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all. None of that is cardio. That is all basically just pure muscle, and you understand why after the first bump he tore his leg, leg muscle.
Yeah, you got to be particularly ready for it.
I've been in a lot of research about training facilities and everything. How would you really rate the training facility that you went to?
The training facility I went to, I mean, this isn't me being biased or anything like that, but it trained us to work in different conditions because we either have to take the canvas off and replace it with another one. We trained outside, which is under a tree. Yeah, there's shade, but a lot of shit falls from the trees. American Wild Child had chickens in the back, so sometimes they get in the ring and they'd shit there. And
You learn
I
to
mean,
react to things that you cannot control.
exactly. And when you're starting out, you're going to want to get bookings everywhere that you can get them. So a lot of times you're going to wrestle outside, or you're going to wrestle in a stuffy ass building, or you're going to wrestle in front of like two people at American Legion Hall. Like it really taught us how to be appreciative of the bookings that we got, and B, to learn to adapt. And so I would rate Rudos Dojo a 5 out of 5 because they taught us a lot. And especially like not just with AWC, but like Disco Machine and Taro and Rising Sun, rest in peace, and occasionally sometimes Super Dragon.
So besides that, were there any notable people that trained with you? Like, I don't know if I asked that already, but
Oh no. There was a good number of people that were in the class that I was in. Top Gun Talwar, PWG legend, he was in there for a little bit. He was at the tail end of his training. He was getting ready to start getting matches. Ronan, a PWG, I consider him a legend. He was in my training class along with Scorpio Sky, Quicksilver, photogenic Chris Bosch. Who else was there? A little later in the years of Revolution Pro, the Young Bucks started coming in. Yeah, I mean it was definitely a great experience.
And you just happened to train at the right time where indie wrestling started to flourish again.
Yeah, definitely. When Dragon and Taro and Rising Sun and Disco Machine and Excalibur started hitting up the XPW shows, that's when people started paying attention because they were doing shit that nobody had seen at the time. This whole hybrid style. And I mean, just getting into the behind the scenes part of wrestling, I mean, you don't really know where to get tapes or like where to watch these matches where they talk about these wrestlers that they were training under. I mean, all I knew was Ultimo Dragon, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero, and Dean Malenko, and Chris Benoit. And they're like, well, dude, they had their starts in like Mexico and Japan. I'm like, what? So
Right.
watching a lot of those matches and stuff, it was interesting because that's where all these crazy fucking flippy looking Power Ranger looking wrestlers from SoCal were starting to get everybody to notice them. And yeah, when Revolution Pro started getting a bigger crowd, we started having like shows on the weekends, like every other weekend, at this place called the Frank and Sons Collectibles Show, which is it's kind of like a flea market for geeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, we used the back area. We'd set up the ring, and we'd have like ring announcer, a lot of chairs, commentary table, which was interesting at the time because, to my understanding, nobody was really commentating over their shows. Like we would watch like old Chikara tapes, and they would have like the pop-up video comments, and it would just be quiet hard cams of shows. And so me and a production friend of mine, we were just like, well, dude, why don't we do commentary over the shows? Like, I'd be more than happy to do that. And so myself and my commentary partner at the time, Mr. Larry Pena, he's a dirty whore.
Oh my gosh.
That's we started commentating over the Revolution Pro shows, and people started taking a little more noticing of it. So
Commentating is such an important thing to do because
yeah, I agree.
just because someone does, a Northern Lights suplex doesn't mean they know it's that.
Exactly. And that was something that I felt the need to know, because like at the time, Joey Styles was like the greatest commentator ever because he said the names, he had the notes and everything like that. So I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to know every single word, every single name to the moves. And so I just studied up. And a lot of other times, like, I would try to come up with names for the wrestlers, and some are just like, no, don't fucking call my name or my move this. It's stupid. Sorry, the DOA is driving by. But they're like, don't fucking call my wrestling move this and this. I'm like, dude, it puts over your gimmick. Like, somebody who was really gung-ho about it was Photogenic Chris Bosch. He's a very open-minded gentleman. Welcomed a lot of the names of the stuff that I would come up for his moves, and like he for one was one of the people who made sure that I didn't quit when I got too hard on myself, because I wanted to quit a couple times, and he would come out and check on me. He's like, dude, like, who's your favorite wrestler? And at the time it was like Mikey Whipwreck and Vader and Bam Bam, and he goes, yeah, well, they weren't the way they are like right away. Like, you just need to keep doing it.
Right.
And so I just kept going, and yeah, so when we started wrestling and everything, I started coming up with names for his moves, like the Pena Driver and the Love Fist, which is his like fucking picture perfect Ted DiBiase fist drop. Like, he did it so spot on. It's still like one of my favorite strikes ever that I've had the pleasure of calling. And yeah, I mean, as the shows progress, I took on the persona of Robert Stamos, who was the long-lost cousin of John Stamos. And, yeah, we just started adding little fun bits to our shows, like interviews with random people. Like, I have the first ever Super Dragon interview to where he completely ignores me. And, it's just, it was fun. It was a really fun time just commentating and trying to come up with these little ways to make our tiny little independent promotion in Southern California more standout-ish to the world. So,
and yeah, you feel like that you've accomplished a lot in this little time, haven't you?
at that time, yeah, I'm like, dude, like, people are starting to put commentary on their shows, and everybody like is really enjoying the matches because we had this commentary. I mean, they're not just watching the wrestling going on; they're actually getting into the story. So whenever there's a head drop or a dive to the outside, I'd get like really loud to the point where my head felt like it was going to cave in. Because like I love the Japanese commentary. I still think Japanese commentary is like the best thing in the world because they put so much emotion and feeling into it. So we were just like, oh fuck. So.
Yeah, and especially since like not to be a little like biased or racist or however you call it, you can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, well, that's not racist. It's a fucking language barrier. That's all it is.
I couldn't think of that language barrier.
Yeah, that's
like
fine.
You understand that they are very hype about this right now.
Oh yeah, like the Japanese commentary. Like if you pay attention to it, you hear how calm it is, and then it starts building up, and then they do a sick move. They go, oh, like they just get really, really into it. And as it progresses towards like the moment of truth, like who the fuck is going to win this match? That's when they really start getting into it because they start bringing out the finishers, and they're just like, the Rainmaker, like shit like that. So.
Yeah. Especially with moments where it's not supposed to happen, like I remember when the Young Bucks came out when it's interfered in the match, and they're like, go home, Young Bucks.
Yeah, the famous clip.
Even though it's such a minor thing, you remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I can't remember a time where I was watching an independent show without at least one commentator, even if it was Joe Schmo down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, you've probably heard a lot of bad commentary in the indies too.
Yeah, I have. To where I'm like, wait, they miscalled that move, or why are they so quiet? Which I later was guilty of. Which I'm like, okay, I don't blame them now. They're fucking tired. So.
Yeah. It's like you just did a week's worth of training, and then boom, you have to commentate now.
Yep. Well, even then, like when the shows rolled around, I got really excited for it because I'm like, dude, we got a show tomorrow. I can't fucking sleep. Like tomorrow, we're gonna watch Sky versus Quicksilver, or tomorrow Ronan's gonna take on like Johnny Paradise. Top Gun Tower is gonna take on Gallinero. Like just all these little local things that meant so much to us. We just get really excited about, and we couldn't sleep the night before.
And were there any like notable wrestlers to walk through that like were bigger than like say like in WWE? You know how randomly say Diana Dallas Page is doing a show over in Connecticut right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like those random wrestlers.
You mean like if we brought in a big name?
Yeah.
At the time, let's see, who did we bring in that was a pretty big name? One of our trainers, I think it was Mr. Excitement, really, really talented, very respectful of the Japanese style wrestler. He talked about a show that he did with Benoit and Too Cold Scorpio, and how that was just a surreal moment. They're just hanging in the back with these legends, and they're just talking to him like normal people, talking about shows and all this other stuff. And as far as it goes for my particular time, we had people come in, some fly-ins and stuff. Like at the time, we had Mike Quackenbush come in when Chikara was like starting to get off its feet, and Colt Cabana we brought in, and he was an interesting character too. And it was nice to still catch up with him every now and then, like at PWG, and when I had to do his podcast, which was awesome. So, but notably, those were the names that stood out the most. Like it wasn't until like when PWG started that I started meeting all these people whose names were dropped continuously on the indies. So
yeah, because around that time, that's when a lot of people got disconnected with WWE.
Yeah, it really was. And trying to think if they did something. A lot of the stuff that I heard about was before people got signed. Like Crash Holly, who was known as Aaron O'Grady. Yeah. He had done some stuff, and
Mike Lockwood also like
yeah,
like when he was like in TNA. I remember his like he still had like that bully gimmick, like I'm the toughest person in the world, or to quote Scott Steiner, I'm the toughest son of the bitch in the world.
Yeah,
it's just those like little cool things where you're like, this guy, you get to say like, I know I met like I knew Lil Key, and I knew like CM Punk, and yeah. Speaking of, what time, like, just to make sure for everyone that knows, what year was this around this time?
The Rev Pro stuff?
Yes.
Rev Pro stuff was around the time of 2001 to about, I'd say 2003, 2004. That was my time frame of them.
So so basically from like WrestleMania at 7 all the way till Scott Steiner facing Triple H.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at a really dark period right now.
Yeah, it was a dark time for wrestling, and that's when independents started getting looked at a little bit more.
So what time did you decide that you were done or finished up with Rev Pro? Was it because of the company ending beforehand, or?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of it, we started trying to branch off to more other brands of it. Like, I guess American Wild Child at the time wanted to start branding off like the way Dragon Gate or Torimon, it was known as at the time, was branching off. Like there was Torimon X, there's T2P Project, and all this other stuff. So we became this thing called Rev X, which was our more extreme portion of it, which is like affiliation with XPW at the time. And there was this change in everything. Like I think it was around the time that AWC was going through some personal problems, and so his heart wasn't really in it, and he wasn't as fun as he used to be. And they started paying attention to this particular wrestler who his family would come in and they pay for the seats, so he would get top booking. So a lot of us were really tired and done with it, and just trying to make sure that we didn't fuck up our spot because we loved Rev Pro. We wanted to stay there. We wanted it to keep going. In fact, we even tried to keep it going after AWC had decided to close the doors. And yeah, I mean, around that time, we were just wanting to save it, but we knew that it wasn't going to be saved. So around the time that it closed, we were just like, well, what the fuck are we going to do now? And
It was like watching, one of your children just fade out.
yeah, it's watching a family member just die in front of you. So
Yeah. So did you know what you wanted to do right away after?
me, I was just like, well, where the fuck am I going to train? I don't know what I'm going to do, and I really wanted to keep commentating and managing. Or I was just commentating at the time, but towards the end of it, I believe that is when PWG started becoming a thing. When it had closed, we either had the people who were being booked at PWG, or we had two other promotions, one being Alternative Wrestling Show, AWS, which is still an active promotion from time to time. It tends to go on hiatuses,
Oh, okay.
but it's a great promotion. You can find a lot of their stuff online, whether it be like what is it, buy a match or something.com. I really don't go to the match sites. I'm like, dude, if it's not on YouTube or if it's not on a tape trading site, I'm not making the effort.
It's like
Even when I was younger, I'm like, I'm too young for this shit. I'm not making this much work.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's like comparing clips for sale and YouPorn.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's clips for. I think it's clips for sale. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, I mean, it was something. It was a great promotion. And then the other promotion being, I believe it was World Power Wrestling, WPW, which is in Anaheim. It ran in a marketplace.
I recognize that name for some reason. I don't understand why.
It's where a lot of talent came from, and a lot of talent went to get their feet wet and to wrestle a match just to wrestle a match. And some really talented people came from it. Sadly, I don't know what happened to a lot of them, but the most famous one to come out of it was Little Cholo,
Yeah.
who is now known as, was it,
Damn it.
is it Cortez or Mr. Mr. Cisco?
Maybe I think it's Mr. Cisco.
It's Mr. Cisco on Lucha Underground. So, like, it was cool seeing him there. The Havana Pitbulls used to go through there sometimes.
Yeah.
The Havana Pitbulls being Ricky Reyes and Rocky Romero.
Yeah, and then you probably heard Joey Ryan's going to be in Lucha Underground now.
Yes, I did. Very proud of Joseph.
Yeah.
He used to work there too at WPW.
Yeah,
and occasionally Revolution Pro towards the end.
Yeah, because you've already mentioned that. I've already known that you and Joseph have a really long career knowing each other.
Yeah.
So, especially since now he's a meme now too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me back then that Joseph would have been as big as he is now, I wouldn't have believed it, because he went through so many gimmick changes. Like, before I even knew who he was, I heard he was this goth gimmick called the Forsaken Joey Ryan. And then he became the Technical Wizard Joey Ryan, which is when he started to get over. Like, he'd come out with like a wizard robe, and he'd enter to EMF's Unbelievable, which is still a great track. And then for a little time before that, he was just this handsome white bread boy in Venom tights for some reason, and just trying to get over. But now, like, as he progressed, which I will go on record saying this. He can go ahead and call me a liar. That's fine, or deny it. But part of me contributed. I'm not saying I'm fully responsible or anything like that, but it contributed to the gimmick of the sleazy Joey Ryan era. There was a jacket that he wore in one of the old PWG shows. It was like a yellow netted Unabomber-esque jacket. That was my jacket. I was going to use it to manage, but me being such a nice friend and all, I decided to loan him the jacket to get him over. And yeah, so that's when it started. I'm like, okay, just keep the damn jacket. I didn't ask him for money. I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, it's a little piece of history there.
Do you know if he still has the jacket?
Probably not. To be quite honest, I'm pretty sure that fucking thing is like thrown out ages ago. But you can ask him. I mean,
Yeah, I'll just shoot him a message on the Twitters.
yeah. If you can find a picture of it, that way he'll know what the hell you're talking about too. That might help.
He's probably
'Cause,
using
like,
it. He's probably
that was
using
like-
it as a splooge flag or something.
Probably. Well, no, he's got chicks to do that. Joey Ryan's a pussy magnet, sir. But no, he's a great guy. I love Joseph. But yeah, I knew him around that time too, and it was interesting to see like all these talents that either were established already and still trying to like keep themselves relevant, and talent that was actually trying to make a name for themselves. Like it was a very interesting time for me to get into this whole industry and to see how everybody has grown since then.
Did you decide to go to PWG right away, or did you go to other places first?
I couldn't go to other places first because I had a lack of confidence. I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with me? Like that. The lesson of this whole story of my career, folks, is believe in yourself and don't ever doubt yourself. If people tell you you're great, believe them because they're not bullshitting you. They're telling you that because there's a reason, and you might end up missing on a lot of opportunities. So no, to answer your question, no, I did not go to PWG right away because I felt like I was not good enough. And I was a part of Ring Crew. I was either the timekeeper, bell ringer, or I'd help out with Ring Crew and just get a free show. That was all I needed at the time. It wasn't until I believe it was Rocktoberfest. This was, let me see, June 19th, 2004. This was when my buddies, the Aerial Express of Quicksilver and Scorpio Sky, took on the tag team of the Iron Saints, Sal and Vito Tomaselli. Now, they had a manager with them, the Tomasellis, and I remember just sitting around waiting for just the show to start, because everything was set up. And then they point at me, and they go, well, what about Bob? And I go, or what about Dino? Because at the time I had changed my name to Dino.
So this was when you became finally Dino Winwood.
This is when I noticeably became Dino Winwood. They pointed at me. I'm like, what's up? And I walk over, and they're like, hey, do you want to manage us tonight? I'm like, are you serious? Because, yeah, dude. Do you want to manage us? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And like, is it okay with everybody else? Like, yeah, they seem to be okay with it. Just if they don't like it, then they won't bring you back. So I ended up managing the Aerial Express at that time. If I recall, we came out to "Let's Get Retarded" by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, jeez.
And I told them, hey, I was thinking of coming out and dancing like I'm actually retarded. And they said, no, please no. We want to be faces, and that might put us as heels. We're not comfortable with it. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll just follow the lead then. And it was interesting. Like some of my friends were in the audience from training in Rev Pro, and they were cheering like, "Oh shit, there's Stamos or Dino," at the time. So I ended up managing being as loud as possible, and we ended up doing a multi-headlock spot, which is classic lucha.
Yeah.
And apparently it got over once I went inside, and the heads of PWG at the time, which originally was about 6 people, putting their input and money into it, they're like, okay, well, the crowd seems to love you. We'd like to have you come back as a manager.
Which must have been a huge surprise for you.
It really was because I'm like, holy shit, I'm in PWG now. Like, whoa, what? I'm gonna be in the same locker room as a bunch of like superstars who've been all over the world. Like, what the hell am I doing here? And
Total fish out of water.
totally, totally. And yeah, I mean, I had to miss a couple of shows because I didn't drive at the time. And I think they also wanted to see how they were with SoCal Val, who was still on the scene at the time before she went to TNA and became something. Um, like
uh,
she's at TNA. I know she did an angle and everything, but then they kept her there. I'm like, I don't know what she does. I love Val. I mean, she was always sweet to me when we worked together, and I miss her very much. And I just don't know what the fuck she does at TNA. Like,
yeah.
but it's cool. I'm glad she's getting work and everything like that.
Also, TNA is in a very, very bad state, so like
It usually is, but it's never gonna die. So fuck.
yeah,
But
because
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
let's not talk about TNA. TNA sucks.
yeah, who knows? Maybe in a week you'll be there.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'll be like, hey, TNA's the greatest place in the world. Give me my money.
Dude, even
But
Hulk Hogan didn't say it was the greatest place in the world, and they're paying him $2 million.
I know, right? So can you imagine? Like, I would probably talk a lot of shit to that place, and I'd probably end up running it for saying what's on everybody's mind. But
Ugh.
but yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's how I got into PWG. It was just being at the right place at the right time, and my friends believing that I had what it took to manage them and to be a part of it. So
What was your people's reaction when you first entered in the locker room? Were people happy, or did you stay? Did you like stay to yourself, or?
I mean, the people that I knew were happy, and when you're in wrestling, it's kind of like going to high school. You walk in, you know who you know, and you're comfortable. You don't know certain people, you're to yourself, but eventually you will have to make the rounds and shake the hands. And however it goes down, that's how it goes down. And you go back to your corner. But I mean, it's at the whole locker room at the time. I mean, I knew people from SoCal and everything like that, and you were just having a good time at the moment of PWG. Like, oh, okay, we're here. Oh shit, here comes Samoa Joe. Here comes Christopher Daniels. Here comes Frankie Kazarian. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm so nervous. How do I just go up and shake their hand? I don't want to bother them. And you just go do it.
You just do it.
And, yeah, and you just do it. No, topical. I hate that. Um, you just go up and you shake their hand and you be respectful and you look them in the eyes. Like, how you doing? My name is Bobby, or my name is Dino, and just it's good to see you. Have a great show. And they acknowledge it or they don't. Luckily, I've came across a lot of people who are just like, oh, well, thank you. So
I learned that when reading McFoley's autobiography, "Have a Nice Day."
yeah,
That you can be devastated, you can be killed in the ring, you can be this and that. You go over and shake their hand, and you thank them for a match.
yeah, it's true because you are going out there and you're trusting this other person with your safety, even if they work stiff. You are still trusting them with your safety.
They could kill you, but they won't kill you.
Exactly. Like, you'll still be able to get up. You just won't know where the fuck you are. And, yeah, I mean, it's something... It's a sign of respect. Even if they don't show you respect, you still be the bigger person, and you show them respect. So...
I'm sure everyone's heard the story of him against the Dynamite Kid and British Bulldog, and oh my god, and then gets the Steiners after that. Yeah, when you started working at WCW, how did you feel if you had to start your career and you're like, oh yeah, your first wrestling match, you're going against Scott and Rick Steiner?
What did I do?
You just you just have to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
I mean, if anything, I would just walk over and say, Mr. Steiner, looking forward to being killed by you today. Just want you to know I'm going to make you look like $1 million, even though you seem to be stacked pretty high yourself. So you could try to break the ice and
yeah,
just be enthusiastic about it. And you know what? You can either take it or you could give back and deal with the consequences.
Right.
Me personally now, I'm at a point where it's like I've been in the business 15 years. I've been on and off. I've done what I've done. However, I'm also a man. If you respect me, fantastic. You will get respect back tenfold. However, if you disrespect me, you will be let to the fullest point. You will be informed of what we are actually doing here and why you should not take yourself so seriously. It might sound very harsh and rather,
Foreboding.
yeah, very foreboding. Because if I'm sensing that I'm being disrespected, I straight up call it out right away. Like, oh, you're being a dick. All right, that's fine. Well, just wanted to say hello. Fuck you. So, and just walk off.
It's not like I'm putting my body like on the line just to
And
appease, 10,
even
like it would be like in front of like 25 people per se, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell like I don't like you at all," and expect you to probably get punched in the face a few times.
yeah, I mean, and even then, some wrestling schools will tell you this: don't, um, just keep if you're there to job or whatever. If you're there to make them look good, then you do it. And other places can tell you if they fucking stiff you, you give a receipt. And if they stiff you again, you give them one even harder. And so I kind of picked my battles with it if I was in the ring in the few matches that I had. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that we were taught, like, oh, if they shake your hand too firmly, that means they're a stiff worker. Or if they don't look you in the eye and all this other shit. I'm like, dude, it's just a handshake. Like, if they're nice to me, they're nice to me. If they're a dick, they're a dick. It's no problem. So, so high school and wrestling go together like champagne and doggy style. They go hand in hand.
So you not only were in PWG, you were in other indies too at the time.
Oh yeah. This was at the time where Southern California wrestling was all over the place. It still is. It's just that everybody is not really working together to keep it to where, oh, we have a show this weekend, and then next weekend there's a different promotion running a show. No, it's like, oh, three promotions are running on this day, and they're competing with PWG or Lucha Underground. Like, as far as a lot of people who are very close-minded are concerned, PWG and Lucha Underground are the only Southern California wrestling promotions, and that is just sad.
That which is it's absolutely not true. Especially today, you hear about a lot of places from famous people that are training people how to wrestle.
Yeah.
Like I know I've heard about like Rikishi's place now too. Like
Mm-hmm.
only because of wrestling, because Rusev came from there,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's a weird thing to say, but like I've already heard about like I've inquired about that place too because I've heard him talk about training people on kayfabe commentaries,
Mm-hmm.
saying that he doesn't let anybody enter the ring until they learn the basics out of the ring.
Yeah.
Because last thing he needs to do is someone to trip and land on the ropes, and we have another problem. Yeah. So so you spent a lot of years in PWG in a lot of roles.
Yeah. I was a manager at first. Well, I was ring crew and timekeeper at first, and then I was a manager. And then I became the commissioner, or co-commissioner, actually. And then I became commissioner.
Um, do you have any highlights or anything that you would like to mention about starting to become the commissioner? Were you just told, hey, you're the commissioner?
Yeah, I was told. I remember I was told it like the day of a show. This was after SoCal Val got super kicked by Joey Ryan. That I was going to be the new commissioner, and so I remember completely shitting myself because I didn't know what that would entail. All I know is that I'm an authority figure. So okay, I'm an authority figure now. So I remember not knowing exactly what to do in order to transition from SoCal Val being the commissioner to me being the full blown commissioner. So I wrote on a piece of paper, "I'm out, you're in," signed SoCal Val, and it was the most like lackluster response. Like I expected a laugh. I don't know why I expected a fucking laugh out of it or anything, but I had to basically reassure everybody, "Oh shit, I'm the commissioner," and then they got happy about it. And so, yeah, I mean, and this was already after I'd like been established as a character there, like me and Joey Ryan were having a feud. Like every show, there would be an attack on me by him, and then I would end up giving him a gigantic power move or a finisher, which started off at the second birthday bicentennial, night one, when Aerial Express, Quicksilver, and Scorpio Sky took on Arrogance. It's Chris Bosch and Scott lost for the tag team titles, to where if the Aerial Express lost, they would lose their masks. And so everybody got killed in that match.
Yeah.
And to the point where I powerbombed Joey Ryan, which is called the Dino bomb. Almost everybody that I come in contact with that knows who I am, mentions it. And then I get my nuts punched by Chris Bosch, and then super kicked in the throat by Scott Lost. So.
Which that must have been like a really shocking moment for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do a power bomb. This is it. Fuck. So,
have you done a power bomb before that?
I haven't at the time because I was like, oh shit, I don't know how to do a power bomb. Like I've only had one match, and it was a training show, and I got squashed. So I don't know how to do dick. Like, so Joey's just like, it's okay, just lift me up the best you can, and I'll follow. And luckily, it came off, and he fucking took it like a champion, man. And he made me look like $1 million. Anytime I performed a move on Joseph, he made me look like $1 million. So
it was, I think it was around this time that a lot of people started to take like, not just take notice to you, but they recognized that you were actually like someone. Like, not to say it like that, but like, not only in front of the scenes, but like behind the scenes too.
Yeah, which is interesting to me because, like, even in the moment when I was more relevant, I didn't understand why people knew who I was. I'm like, I'm not a wrestler. I'm just this guy.
You're an authority figure. You have to be in the history now. That's the thing.
That's very interesting because,
right? Like,
I mean, I've been kind of erased from it. So
when PWG, like. It's teamed up with Ring of Honor now. If you've probably heard about that. Like,
yeah, it's and I've done my shit talking on that too. It's really nice that Ring of Honor decided to let its little sister Fed come and play with them. So
finally yet again.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, wow, that really put a dent on their shows.
Yeah. So what's next? You're gonna have a PWG title belt defended at Wrestle Kingdom since they're all linked together now.
I know, right? I mean, that'd be interesting to see at least.
Yeah. We're having another NWA, I guess.
Oh, really?
That's my guess because we had these three like huge promotions being together. There's going to be a governing force eventually, and it's probably New Japan.
Well, shit. If it's New Japan, then I'm happy. I hope they turn PWG into fucking NWO white. So.
You mean red?
Or red, whichever was the
Latino.
White was considered the shitty one, and the Wolfpack was you know what? It turns them into the LWO.
Yeah, well, because they're from California.
Yeah. Well, even then, like, there's more white wrestlers on PWG's roster now than there ever was before. I mean, back then you had Los Luchas, Nemesis, fucking even just luchadors from all over, like
masked wrestlers.
Yeah, just masked wrestlers in general. But now the most Mexican they get is borrowed talent from Lucha Underground, and that's AAA. So
right, see, even more connection.
Mm-hmm. So, oh my God, maybe it is. Maybe PWG is part of this gigantic monopoly.
It's a conspiracy. And then Jakara's connected with PWG too.
Yep, it kind of is.
So you got like this weird like branch like tentacles, basically, and then one of them reaches behind itself out of his ass, reaching Japan.
Mm-hmm. Well, PWG was supposed to go to Japan a few times, but a certain fat-ass dragon kind of fucked up the deal. Yeah. So.
Well, also it was supposed to have The Rock show up too. That's another thing.
What?
To support the movie Paying a Gang, PWG made a deal with The Rock, verbal agreement that he would be like the the commission, like the guy booking for the entire night.
Where did you hear this?
This is I heard this from Reddit and Woo,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's got to be true.
Of course.
Yeah, because those are very two valid point. Yeah. I don't really know. This could all be bullshit, and I'm just saying
It could be. I mean, at the time we had the Insane Clown Posse try to get backstage, and then we threw their asses out. So, but that's like the story that I heard.
What when was that?
Fucking 2004, 2005.
I bet you if they tried that now, though, I bet they'd be welcome with open arms because JCW is a thing,
Oh yeah, JCW is definitely a thing.
right? Like I would easily work with them because like I've heard that they've paid very well for people.
Yes, they do, and I don't know how to get any fucking connections these days as a manager or whatnot. But if I can work with JCW, I used to be a juggalo, so I know the fucking lingo and everything else. So
I'm not a juggalo, never been. I appreciate what they do.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the fans that they've been recognized for doesn't really help the track record. But when I was a juggalo, it was about acceptance. It was about being who you are and just having fun with things. So when it started getting a little more out of control, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to back away now. So
I still love the stories that I hear about when they heard that when ICP declared that all their music was about Christianity.
yeah,
I heard the backlash about that, about people, grown men crying about it and racing tattoos and everything.
that's just ridiculous.
And look at them now; they're starting another, Joker's cards and everything. Starting
Another one.
Yeah.
I hope there's a sequel to Get Off Me Dog or Bugs on My Ballsack.
Oh, you mean was it Bugs on My Nugs?
Yeah, let's say is it? Yo nuts, we want your nuts. It just scratch and bite your nuts. Yeah, I remember everything. Which was around the time that I was relevant. There was so many Jekyll Brothers shirts. I had one of them. So
Here's the thing, though. I still declare Hall of Illusions as like one of my top 100 songs.
really,
Like it's just the whole entire moral of the story. Like
it's a good story.
and the flow of the song and everything, and basically it's not too. It's dark, yeah, but it's not ICP. I feel like any other rapper could sing this song,
Oh, for sure.
except the Dark Carnival and like that part,
Yeah.
like that, and of course Homies, dude. Homies.
Oh, fucking hell. Homies, it's become a part of my life only because it annoyed the shit out of me and everybody in Revolution Pro Ring Crew, because we did a match at E3, the Electronic Gaming Convention.
Yes.
When the Best of Backyard Wrestling was a video game. And Super Dragon had a match there, Rising Sun, Josh Prohibition, M-Dog 20, Scorpio Sky. Like, that's how I met M-Dog. M-Dog I love you, buddy. I fucking love M-Dog. I'm proud of everything that he's become. I miss him very much. And at Lucha Underground, he actually remembered me. I hadn't seen the man in like a decade, and he fucking remembered me. He pointed right at me in the audience, and then we chatted on Twitter, and we hugged. So, sorry, I get really excited about my friends. But back to the story, instead of me just tickling my shit, they played that fucking song in a loop constantly because it's a booth, you only do a video for a certain amount of time. So every time we wouldn't hear anything else but homies, talk about the dog of love. I'm like, oh,
The carnival for everyone. Yeah.
Oh my god, like it completely fucking drove us insane. We're like, dude, I want to go home now. Yeah. You want to go homie? No, I want to go home.
I think I realized I liked that song when that Workaholics episode where they go
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
By the way, I love that show.
Like, I'm not a big fan of Workaholics. I've watched every episode, but only because I've slowly watched it. I'm not the kind of person who goes like, I need to watch all of it right now.
Yeah, I need to catch up on the past season or two. But the last one I watched, I really loved when Adam almost dies from getting hung from a tree. He's like, oh my god, I must die! It's like my favorite thing in the world. No, go
My
ahead.
my favorite part was when they started playing Magic the Gathering while it was all dark and they started quoting like, cards and everything. I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Magic the Gathering nerd for like no reason.
That's fine. You
Yeah.
fuckers pushed us out of Frankenstein's. I'm kidding. It's true though. It's so true. The Magic the Gathering people were so popular, they fucking decided to not renew us to have wrestling shows there, so we had to move
Yeah.
outside.
Dude, they had like was it in LA or not LA, Las Vegas. They had over 50,000 people playing Magic the Gathering at once
Hmm.
for a tournament. Like all like then they basically had to have like 1,000 judges to watch it all.
Huh.
And this is very recent. It's like I think they won as the Guinness World Record for like most people at a card game match or
Wow.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
So like, I got into that because of college, and it's either you get later you play Magic the Gathering. So
Interesting.
yeah, and that happened to be Magic the Gathering and that. So but whatever,
Yeah.
that's another story for another day. Uh, yeah. So you had a lot of notable moments in PWG that a lot of people from New Legacy Inc. and the community love to bring up,
Mhm.
including, well, for starters, your impression of Loki.
That was, I think, one of my first big things because that was on the same show, I believe, the Rocktoberfest,
Yes.
and they heard that I do a low key impression, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, uh, Punk and Carino are doing this promo about low key." I'm like, "Well, I do an impression. Do they want to like have low key come in or whatever?" And, like just as a goof, I'm like, "That's probably a stupid idea." But then they're like, "Yeah, dude, they want to do it." I'm like, "Oh shit, what?" So the whole low key eating a banana and all this other shit. We just did it. And Carino was a good sport. Punk was always a cool dude to me. Like he went out of his way to shake my hand every time that he would come to the shows, and that really meant a lot. So
Especially since what Punk has become.
yeah, I mean, and
Like,
at the time, the reputation that he had was like, "Oh, dude, he's kind of a dick, or he's just to himself." I'm like,
right.
"Oh, well, he went out of his way to shake my hand. I mean, I'm just a fucking ring crew kid, and he went out of his way to do that, so he's probably not all that bad."
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, what he became and everything like that, I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like, people might have their opinions about him, but personally, I was proud of the guy.
yeah, me as a kid watching. I never understood the hype of CM Punk when he debuted at the Hammerstein Ballroom in ECW,
Hmm.
but I did understand it right after he started wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I didn't start watching indies until I was like 2011.
Okay.
So like I didn't understand like oh this guy, yeah, this is like I didn't even understand who Claudio was until I saw Miss Cesaro. I'm kind of that like out of it.
Oh, okay.
But like now I watch backlog of like Claudio wrestling, and I'm like, okay, he's probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, there is so much that they've yet to tap in for his potential, and
Like
I miss Claudio. I miss him so much.
he has a career forever in WWE as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
As he will never screw it up, especially since his wife slash girlfriend slash whatever he's going on with Sarah Del Rey.
Yep. I love them as a couple, by the way. Like, because I knew Sarah from when she would work SoCal Indies, and I remember she slapped the shit out of me because she thought I mispronounced her weight in the middle of a match. And dude, when you get slapped by Sarah Del Rey, it is like fucking getting Demock right in the face. So Demock is a death touch, by the way, if you
Yes.
watch Bloodsport. Um, but in the back, like I remember after the match, she goes, "Oh my god, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah. Why did you hit me? Because you said I weighed like 400 pounds." I'm like, "No, I said you weighed this. Here, it's the card." She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "It's fine. Whatever."
You better gotten a hug for that.
I've got a hug. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Sarah's a sweetheart. I miss her to death too. Like before her and Claudio went to WWE, I got to see them one last time at King of Trios when I went to visit Chikara, like back in Jesus.
Yeah, and that's got to be in Philly. So no matter
Yeah,
what,
it was in Philly. That was like
was that
the last.
11? Was it
I think it
2000?
was 2011. Yeah, and they didn't know that I was going to be there, so Sarah had like one more appearance in SoCal, and I got to sing her theme song, which is like an on-the-fly death metal track that I did a cappella. And yeah, when I went to Chikara, I didn't tell anybody else that I was there. It's just Bryce Remsburg and a couple other people that I knew, but I didn't know Claudio was going to be there or anything. So
Oh,
when he
dude,
saw me, he
dude.
just goes, Dino! And you've not lived until you've seen a gigantic Swiss Superman get excited to see you and hug you. Like, it is the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Going back, then I know. Sorry to kill any hype of that. That was awesome. Like
What?
that. Yeah. You know Bryce? Like,
Yeah.
I recently talked to him because I went to see them wrestle in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I bought that tape just because I love that entire show.
Bryce is definitely one of those great people who makes you feel very welcome, but very funny, funny guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love him to death.
That was a fun moment. It was definitely out of a body experience, like meeting all these wrestlers that I've because like I haven't gotten to a wrestling event at that time ever since Royal Rumble 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, and I prided myself on that. And then it's like, well, I just went Chikara because I need Jervis wanted to talk to me. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going. So I went down there, meeting people like Icarus and everything, talking to him after all the wrestling. That was awesome. Him out of breath,
Nice.
running around, and it just, he took time and he shake my hand and said, like, thank you very much for coming out and everything. That was something.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I still say the best part is Chuck Taylor actually recognized my No Legacy shirt and called it stupid.
Oh, nice.
He called it out. He's like, that shirt's so stupid. Just shook his head at me.
That means a lot coming from Chuck Taylor, though.
Dude, when is he debuting? Like,
I have no fucking clue. Like when I heard that they signed him, I'm like, dude, they better use him to full potential.
like they wrapped up a lot of storylines with a lot of places, and I'm assuming he is going somewhere. Just go already.
Yeah.
Like even like I know I talked to other Chikara people, and they're like, what, yeah, where is he going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So another moment that I've noted was from Passive Hostility. You saying this notable quote that I've heard a lot of people mention all the time. I forget talking to who, but it's you watered down poser Asian.
Yeah, I didn't think that had such an impact on people, but yeah, that
It doesn't sound like an insult. That's why it's funny.
it's not an insult. That's the thing. Like, but yet people took it as one. I'm like, shit. What am I gonna say? Because all Scott's doing is calling me a fat bastard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
and
remember
you were
giving
in
him.
you were
Yeah, I was in the
ring.
ring with Claudio and Hero.
Yeah, it's like, okay, first off, you're in the ring with these two people who are basically indie legends now,
Yeah.
and you are talking to Scott Lost, who is only making fun of you
Hmm.
because you're the manager. It's like making fun of Paul Heyman when you're near Brock Lesnar. You're gonna tell Brock Lesnar, oh, you have a tiny red penis.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that gonna do for you? You're gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna make
Yeah.
fun of Paul Heyman. Oh, you're a fat Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun one too, because like I love feuding with the Dynasty, which was I would consider it the peak of my career. But the fact that, because I remember that entrance for that particular show, they were going to attack Claudio, because I think this is around the time Claudio first tried to go to the WWE, and the music hit, and I had a water bottle, so I came through the curtain and I
Right.
squirted everybody with the water bottle, and they're just like, "Oh God!" And I ran in, and Hero and Claudio were like standing them off, and that's when the whole argument started. Watered down poser Asian.
So not only does he literally a poser Asian, he's also has water on him. So that's what
Yep.
clicked in your mind at the time.
Exactly. Yep. Watered down poser Asian, because Scotty loved Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So everything Scotty wanted to do was Bruce Lee related. So I remember just taking it. I'm like, you're Filipino, but you love a Chinese man. You want to be Chinese, don't you? I used to fuck with Scotty all the time. I love Scotty to death. But
Do you talk to him that much still?
Yeah, from time to time, just text him like, "Hey, what's up?" He always texts me with a lot of A's. Bab, what's up? And um, yeah, I worked with him and the gentleman I mentioned earlier, Mr. Excitement. We worked on a comic book together. So,
Yeah.
very good comic book called The Second Shift, which you can pick up at scottlostcomics.com. Just let him know I sent you because it's a damn good book. I wrote the villains, which is the best part of the book, anyways. And then Scotty drew the pretty little pictures. So, and Mr. Excitement wrote everything else. He mostly did all the work on that one. So,
Okay. I'm gonna visit that right now just so I can see some of the stuff. I've seen it before. I just can't remember that much because I do 100 things at once in life.
yes, I can tell.
Yeah. Like it starts coming home after, you know,
Yeah, and you're like, I'm so fucking tired.
and then oh damn it. Okay. Oh, those drawings remind me of like almost like a King of Fighters SNK style.
Yep, Scotty is very, very talented. It's been nice seeing his style evolve over the years, and now he's an accomplished comic book creator. So
A lot of cliches in here. Jeez.
yep. Wait, my story or the site?
The comic itself. I have a test picture right here that's like, you know, hey ugly, okay, I'm grossed out and kind of sad, mommy.
Yeah,
Now
trust
John,
me.
Ed marks a spot and the guy just gets killed.
Yep, that's a comic book like necessity. No, trust me. If you do read this book, it gets dark really fucking fast because when they asked me to get on the project, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. However, I need to be able to write it the way I want to write it. And so I made the villains completely just brutal. So
Well,
it's a good read, though.
I feel like it kind of has to be so because if not, a lot of people lose attention right away. So
Yeah,
uh,
it's a different transition. Like it could be happy go lucky, and then all of a sudden, this dude gets his head punched completely through, and everything else like that. So yeah, I say it's recommended to check it out.
yeah. And one more moment that I've highlighted in my bookmarks is you doing a promo with Jay Briscoe.
Yeah. Okay. So I love the Briscoes. I'm gonna go on record saying that they kicked my ass at PWG's Battle of Los Angeles 2006,
Yeah.
second annual one. It did not make the fucking DVD for some reason. I don't know who made the decision to cut out the ass whooping. It was mentioned all throughout the DVD, but nobody could watch it.
Well, it wasn't
Uh,
even bonus features or anything.
Nothing. So high spots, go fuck yourself, and whoever made the decision to cut it, go fuck yourself even more.
They were like, "Oh, legit! This." Well, I bet you they do it now because the Briscoes are basically, you know, like the highlight of Ring of Honor. But besides that,
Mm-hmm.
um,
And but at the time that we did the show, we a lot of times we could not understand what the hell the Briscoes were saying. We don't know if it was because they were either drunk, which they did miss their flights a lot at PWG shows.
I've heard about that.
But like a lot of times I didn't know what the hell they were saying because it's just different type of talk. And so I took the need to sort of translate. That's the whole point of that promo was translating.
Hmm.
And Disco Machine started recording it, and he knew. I believe he knew what I was doing. Well, as I believe it was Jay Briscoe, he was just going along with it because I was wearing my mask. Because whenever I'm bored and waiting around for the shows to end, I just do random shit to keep myself entertained, and whoever likes it likes it. So I had this panda mask on, and whatever he's saying, I'm saying something right after. And now that you know, that's me trying to translate Briscoe. So
A lot of people have watched that and were like, "I don't know what's going on." I watched that and I was like, "I don't know what's going on."
that's the beauty of early PWG. A lot of shit would go down. You don't know why it happened, but it happens. I mean, you've seen Top Gun Tower do cocaine in a bathroom and fuck a bear. So you've seen uh
Jesus.
you've seen let's see. What's another one? You've seen El Generico and Quicksilver dance off trying to make I think Kevin Steen feel better. And you've seen Chris Bosch and Scott Lost take a piss up the side of the building, which they actually were doing. Like that was the fun part of PWG. Nobody took themselves way too seriously. Everybody had a fucking great time, and the feuds that need to be told a story were told a story. And it was an awesome bit of chaos. It showed everybody's personality, and then yeah, I miss those days.
Okay, so since you're talking about these days, when do you think those days ended? When you finished your run with PWG, or what's up?
Those days were ending around the time that I feel when Bosch and Quicksilver left. Quicksilver and Bosch were getting over pretty damn well on their own. Quicksilver was a great tag team wrestler. He was even better as a singles wrestler. He'll probably say differently, but I loved Quicksilver as a singles wrestler. And Bosch was fucking photogenic Chris Bosch. The man is a god among men in independent pro wrestling in Southern California. Cutting these random ass promos of rambling or whatever, and just putting himself completely over. He was fantastic at it. And I remember Bosch wasn't really feeling it anymore because there was a match he wrestled Steen, and he took the package pile driver off the top rope. He fucked up his back. And so since that match, he took some time off. And then for a little while, he wasn't starting to feel it anymore. And like he wasn't starting to feel wrestling anymore. Same with Quicksilver. Quicksilver was tired of getting beat up, tired of getting chopped, tired of all this other stuff. And I think it was when they wrestled IWA Mid-South. It was Roderick and Davey Richards, I believe. I could be wrong. It's been a while, though.
Which sounds like a hell of a match right now.
Yeah, it was a tag match at the time. And then Cape Fear, which was El Generico and Quicksilver.
Right.
I believe Roddy had it, and Generico might have had it. He wore a t-shirt, though, just to be safe. But somebody caught staph infection. And precautions were taken. However, Roddy got busted open and was bleeding everywhere. Quicksilver had been getting the chops from Roderick the entire time that his fucking chest opened up. So he caught staph infection, and Quicksilver almost died.
I've heard about this.
And so Quicksilver is like, I'm done. I am not wrestling again. Wrestling is just not a part of my life. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do it. I'm just done. And then Bosch left. And then that's when everything started changing. We started bringing in more Dragon Gate guys. We started bringing in more fly-ins. We weren't really booking SoCal guys. And then Disco Machine, he was already in the red with all the money that he's been spending on PWG. And not seeing a dime of it in return. And this is before High Spots rolled in and started, just giving it up the ass to PWG.
Right.
You have to book all this overseas talent, you have to book the East Coast talents, because the shows where you're just your local talent are not selling, so you need to just book East Coast only. And that's when I noticed things were not great anymore. Like, Bosch was gone. Quicksilver was gone. Scorpio Sky wasn't even feeling it anymore. And
a lot of people losing their smiles.
A lot of people losing it. And so I'm just like, fuck, I miss everybody. Like it's different here. And I was already like starting to lose my smile. I'm like, I'm probably gonna retire soon or whatever, but I mean, I want to say goodbye to everybody. But I remember the only thing that was really keeping me going was doing these trailers, these hype trailers with this kid, Tiger Driver 98, who is a fucking talented editor. And I owe a lot, I think PWG owes him a lot of credit too for getting the word out about those shows, because they didn't flyer. It was all word to mouth. If not, you go on SoCal Uncensored, or you wait for the next DVD to come out. But he made these trailers by himself, and then I would provide voices from time to time. And those are the only things that I really look forward to. Other than that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell people that Roderick Strong's booked again, and for some reason they're booing me for it. They're tired of seeing Roderick Strong. And I'm starting to just, like, not feel anything during commentary. Like, I believe I dozed off once during an Austin Aries match.
Which sounds like a no-no, because Austin
Yeah.
Aries is pretty decent. I'm going to say that right now.
Oh, to each his own. At the
Yeah.
time, I didn't know what the big deal was. Nowadays, yes, he's fucking great. But at the time, I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. My friends are leaving. This place is starting to feel different completely, and it's just not fun anymore. And then I think around the time that Dragon was supposed to wrestle Taro, like this was the big SoCal match that everybody wanted to see, like one more time. They're gonna fight. Taro was ready to go. Dragon was not in shape. Dragon had Taro on the top trying to lift him up for something and ends up spiking him off the top rope like a fucking top rope gonzo bomb. Almost killing him. Mind you, Taro and Dragon are related. They're
Yes.
cousins. Dragon comes back more pissed off because his match didn't go too well. No concern for his cousin. Just pissed off that his match didn't go well and he didn't look good. That's when I was like, you know what? I don't like it here. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try my best to make sure that people still see that this is PWG, but it doesn't feel that way. So one day I had to miss a show because this is when we started moving to Reseda. And
Right.
I'm like, fuck, man, this is getting further and further. It's getting difficult to get a ride, and nobody I know goes there anymore. They're like done with it. They're moved on with life. So I remember emailing Joseph saying, hey, can you tell Dragon and Excalibur, hey, I can't make the show tonight because my ride backed out. So, but I'll be at the next show, and I really do apologize for that. Sure, no problem. The next day, Excalibur announces that Dino Winwood is taking an indefinite leave of absence. I'm like, what the fuck? Then I checked the website. My picture is already taken down, my profile and everything.
Right.
And I'm just like, did they fucking blackball me? Next thing you know, I'm not a part of PWG anymore. And it wasn't until the retirement match of Scott Lost. I remember saying the only time that I would go back to PWG is for a retirement or if Peter Avalon debuted. Because at the time, Peter Avalon was a student of Charles Mercury,
Right.
the legendary springboard knee dropper. Oh my god! But at the time, I was really proud of him. He was a good kid. He's still a good kid, very talented. And I'm like, dude, the only time I'm going back there is if you debut or if somebody retires, if Scott retires, because Scott was the only one left.
Right.
And that very show, he debuted, and Scott was going to retire. However, before all that, Scott and Scorpio Sky, said, hey, we'd like the idea of you coming out to manage Sky one last time, kind of like a reunion. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, sure. Did you ask Dragon? And they're like, oh, we're about to ask him right now.
Oh,
Or,
jeez.
or it should be cool.
Right.
And then they tell me that Dragon said that he doesn't think it's a good idea because nobody would remember me. And
Wow.
that really cut deep. So I was like, wow, dude, like, they don't know who most of the talent is that we bring in. So, like,
That's
I gave the company 5 years, everything I could. Didn't even ask for a pay. Even when they were paying me and then the next time they didn't, I never asked for it. And then they just blackballed me out, and now nobody would remember me,
and that's what he said, quote unquote, according to.
according to Dragon.
Right. Which you absolutely 100% believe.
I do,
Okay.
because it really, it's a very hurtful thing, and that's when everything in my head started collecting. Of course, nobody's going to remember you. You barely did anything. You haven't done anything landmark. You're not a wrestler. You're not a talent. You're nothing. You're just a little spoke on the wheel. And since then, I mean, I went into a deep depression. I disappeared from the scene for a while. And yeah, so since then,
What year was this, by the way?
This was, let me see. I have to look it up.
Okay, one
This
second.
was, let's see, retirement match, career, dynasty, July 30th. This was 2010.
So this is getting closer to yeah, it's basically today, basically.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I remember talking, trying to like email Dragon, like I was trying to be as professional as possible. Just letting him know, like, why would you say that to me? And he gave me some sort of ham sandwich excuse. But I'm like, dude, I'm not. Like, I would like to go to the show. Goes, well, if you help out with the chairs and everything, we'll see what we can do. I'm like, wow, you unbelievable cocksucker. So I went there. I helped out with the chairs and whatnot. Completely just down. Um, I remember Excalibur telling me that he tried some sort of form of like letting me know that I am useful or something like that. I don't know what he was trying to say. I'm just like, fuck you.
He's
And
just trying to say anything, basically, to
yeah,
keep it at like, oh, I want you to help me, but I really don't like you.
yeah, probably. I don't know what the hell was going on in his brain, but I remember sitting on the stage, looking at all these people. I'm like, this isn't our crowd anymore. Like these are more like East Coast marks and fucking wannabe celebrities. Like, oh, the girl from Community's here. Big fucking deal. Like, I don't care if celebrities show up to the shows. Like, I want a good show.
You shouldn't have to perform better just because a celebrity is there. A
Yeah,
celebrity is a person.
yeah. And so, like, whenever there's this certain celebrity was here at PWG, I'm like, so what? They don't give a shit about wrestling. They don't give a shit about the product. This is just a thing to do because it's an LA thing. And I remember going to that show and just sitting there and looking around, saying, like, this place is officially changed. Like, this isn't PWG. This is fucking Ring of Honor West Coast.
Which
And
is what I actually think of PWG right now, sadly.
yeah, it's rent a talent from the East Coast or overseas. The only SoCal guys that they have there are basically rent a talent now.
Or jobbers, yeah.
Yeah. So, or they made a bigger name for themselves in Ring of Honor.
Or elsewhere. Like I think
Yeah.
the Young Bucks held the PWG title forever, like
Hmm.
the tag team title, and
Yeah.
they did nothing with it.
Yeah.
They went to Japan.
Yeah. They became fucking megastars that
Right.
they were meant to be.
Yeah.
And so,
So
yeah, when I
from like 2010 to 2012 with me is a great period for you.
yeah, I wasn't around. I was just indoors trying to keep in touch with people and just figuring out what I was going to do with my life because I have nothing to show for it.
Did you work any indies at the time? Because I believe that's like all you could do.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think I was good enough for that.
Even like as like a manager or a jobber or anything.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Wow.
And it wasn't until I think 12 or 13, like shortly after I'd gotten back from Chikara. Because at the time, I was there to raise just a little bit of hell at PWG. I ended up managing from the stage to where if you watch that show, I think it's their 7th anniversary or whatever,
Right.
um, you'll see this loud, chubby fuck on the stage clapping and cheering. And then when Scott Lost loses, I was the only one going, yes! Yes! That was me managing from the stage. And yeah, after that, I'm just like, okay, fuck this place. I don't need to be here anymore. I don't need to support it. I don't need to do anything with it because it's forgotten about me. So I just hope that it becomes a former shadow of itself and it becomes a joke. But That's not the case. It's now the place to look at because
It's now a breeding. It's now one of those breeding grounds. It's not NXT for WWE,
yeah,
which is while if I ever get the chance to wrestle, yeah, I would wrestle in PWG,
of
but
course.
it wouldn't be somewhere where I go like, oh, I'm gonna stay here.
One shouldn't stay at PWG. You'll end up fucking murdering yourself because whether it be in the ring or outside.
Yeah, I
Because yeah,
just poor management, obviously.
it's just Super Dragon's a fucking asshole. That's it. He's a fucking asshole. All he cares about is money and eating an Olive Garden. If you see a fat, tall, pale son of a bitch carrying a money box, wearing silver track pants, which I'm pretty sure he still has, that's Super Dragon.
I thought that was Virgil.
Hardly, hardly. A guy who looks like he would be a neo-Nazi. That's Super Dragon.
Oh Jesus. Okay. So you thought that you weren't good enough for indies. Obviously, according to Mr. Douchebag Super Dragon,
Yes.
you weren't good enough for PWG. So you all you did was just sulk until 2012.
About, yeah, because I went to
You went to
visit.
you went to Chikara in 2011, right?
Yeah, I went and visited, and it re-sparked a lot of interest because there I ended up staying at the time the apartment that Bryce Remsburg was in before he met his wife and everything. Um, and there was a total of shit, I think like 20 wrestlers staying in this apartment to where they were laying across the floor in the kitchen. They were bundled up like Tetris in the fucking living room area, and then the keepers of the home had their rooms. And even then, they still had people sleeping on the floor. And I was just there in my clothes with my bags and just using it as a pillow, hoping to God I woke up in time to take a shower and ready to go to the show. A three day show. And after every night, we go to the bar or we go to the Wawa,
The
and
Wawa, yeah.
oh, it's such a great place. It was the best experience of my life because everybody was there to have a good time. Everybody was there to wrestle. Everybody just was living it as a family. Even the people that they brought in, they still lived in it as a family. And like going to a bar with this whole crew from Chikara and everyone else from around the world, watching Christopher Daniels sing Freeze Frame, fucking phenomenal. And then an entire bar singing Living on a Prayer. It was one of the best times I'd ever had, to the point where I'm like, fuck, man, I really miss wrestling. I miss times like this. And
Wow.
I decided to try at it again. And it wasn't until, like, I believe 2012 or something like that that I went back to Alternative Wrestling Show, run by Bart Kapitsky, an amazing individual who gave a lot of us an opportunity when he didn't have to, before Rev Pro, after Rev Pro, and after the PWG years. But he made sure that we had spots. And I remember I managed Ronin, and that's when I started up as Naughty Bobby Ramos. And
I love that name.
thank
I,
you.
I think I call you Naughty Bobby before, like around like Pit and Slip and that before I even call you like Dino.
Yeah, it works either way. I've even before like I had the gimmicks and everything, I always had a bunch of names, so it really is no bother. And but yeah, I mean, I started getting over with this black paddle, this gigantic fucking ass slap paddle that I called Lex, based on the porn actor Lexington Steele, because it was this gigantic piece of black wood, and
Not
I called it my son. So
not based it off the stiffness of Lex Luger.
nope, not one damn myo, not one damn oomph. But but I started getting over with it as a heel, and I wrestled a couple more matches. I got to wrestle under Naughty Bobby Ramos. I got to wrestle two of my favorite matches. One was with Top Gun Talwar as my partner. We wrestled this Navy tag team known as Anchors Away, which consisted of David E. Jones and Ryan Stone. These two fucking hilarious, really good tag team wrestlers, and amazing comedy tag team as well. So we had this gigantic brawl of goofy shit to where, one's gonna throw him over the guardrail, but no, he reverses. Well, we did an entire straight line of doing the reversals to the point where we got to the other side, we just threw each other over. And then like we did the Frank Drebin spot, which is where we ended up pantsing the other team, and we're high-fiving and celebrating. They pulled their pants down over their feet and threw it at us, and we pretended like it was burning our faces. And another dream match that I had. We got to have this match, I think, twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Question: do you think there's any way I could get these videos anywhere, or are they all just?
There might be. I really don't know.
They might be in the depths of hell somewhere now.
Pretty damn much. There was the Super Happy Fun Deathmatch Part 2 online, but it got taken down, I guess, because it was pretty fucking raunchy. Which was the match I was going to, the Super Happy Fun Deathmatch, which was an idea of myself and Top Gun Tawar at the time, because we loved Ebasan, which is now the original, known as Kikutaro.
Right.
We fucking idolize that man. Like, he's one of our bestest friends in... we wanted to do him proud as far as comedy goes. We wanted to be comedy wrestlers. And so Top Gun and I came up with the Super Happy Fun Death Match, to where we would parody a death match. Like, instead of light tubes, we used pool noodles. Instead of thumbtacks, we had confetti. Instead of like exploding rings, we used the referee to do these party poppers. Like the big countdown, 3, 2, 1.
And then
What the fuck? But we'd either sell it like death, or we'd go, what the fuck? And which was also a spoof on the Terry Funk Cactus Jack finals. Yeah, like, what the fuck do you call that? So, but yeah, we got to do that match twice. Once at AWS, and another one at this promotion called New Wave Pro, which is sadly not around anymore. But we had everything in there. We had sex toys, to where we had dildo sword fights with Pirates of the Caribbean music playing over it. We had a poo spot in the first one, to where we went into a porta. We were fighting all over the place. Then we went into a porta potty where we stashed a bag of pudding, and we were constantly hitting the walls as we closed the door. And then we just smeared all this fucking pudding on us, and we came out with like brown hands and marks on our face and clothes, and moving towards people. People were all scared shitless of it, and then we had in part 2, we had a birthing spot.
Oh, jeez.
To where Top Gun Tower, Top Gun Tower, I had him in a head scissors, trying to choke him out. And he's like trying to push his way through. And then I'm just like, I'm stuck. Oh, God. And then the referee's like, okay, I just need you to push. I can't do this. I can't do this. It's like, you can do this. Look at me. You can do this. Now push. And Top Gun came out doing like a fake baby cry. And he just goes, oh my God, this is it. This is what life's all about. And so I took him, and I looked around, and I started lifting my shirt, and everybody was completely grossed out. I'm like, it's feeding time. So I pretended just to nurse him. And yeah, the Super Happy Fun Death Match is something that me and Top Gun Tower take pride in, knowing that we were able to do that match twice. We would do it again. If the proper promotion booked us, we would totally fucking do it again.
You should talk to Mike Roach then. He'd probably do it.
Dude, that's the funny thing. I'm also planning on visiting Interspecies, because they were another experience, to where they were the only place that gave me a match when I flew out. And I fucking love Interspecies Wrestling to death. Like, to the point where I'm figuring out a way to pay them back for giving me the opportunity that they gave me.
Yeah.
So,
like, I've talked to Mike, I've talked to Caveman, who was in Blake and them and everything, and everyone's like, dude, I need to visit them.
Yeah, it's a great experience, man.
Like, I live an hour away from them. That's the thing. Like, I know I live in Massachusetts. I live in the most southern, right next to Connecticut.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, like, it's Danbury is like maybe like an hour 15 away from me.
Oh, wow, okay.
But yeah, I legit have no way to, because I literally work like 5-6 days a week. So like, Like my day off today is like a miracle. Like I have like Christmas off, and that's a miracle, and then I have like 2 days off in a row coming up, and I'm like, yeah, like today's the day where like I'm gonna go work out instead of relaxing.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you like immerse yourself in work, I guess. Like,
Mhm.
but it's only for the better. Like, it's good to have a good chunk of money in your bank account.
Hells yes. Shit.
Yeah. So, like I get told by Caveman, he's like, "Oh, I'm coming up soon. I need to go there." I get told by Slip, "Oh, like in July we need to go up there." I'm like, "What time do I have to do this?"
Yeah. I'm already planning a trip to visit there around a bigger show, and then same with Chikara, because I miss both those places so much, and both experiences that I had, it made me fall in love with wrestling again, and everybody there is so wonderful.
It's like it's probably you get the same feeling that you feel from back when with PWG.
I actually get the feeling of it back when with Rev Pro.
If RevPro?
Um, yeah, because with Chikara and stuff, like we would constantly, um, like have like we're okay. We got to do this show tomorrow. Fuck it, we'll crash over at Top Gun's house, or we'll crash here at AWC's house, and then we'll take the ring and we'll set up tomorrow. Like all we would do was hang out constantly. We had like family hangouts to where we would have the Fourth of July with each other. We would just go do shit together, like as a family.
Yeah.
And with PWG, yeah, we had hangouts and everything like that, but the most we would do is like go to Top Gun Tower's house, hang out, drink, and like hang out with some of the fly-ins. Like we'd have Danielson there sometimes. Hero and Claudio would sleep over a lot, which was fun. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah, dude, I failed to mention about Danielson. Jesus.
yeah, Danielson was there.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I
Oh,
grew up. Okay, so here's the people who were around at the time that I was
yeah,
deeply into it.
yeah, we need to talk
Okay,
about this.
so Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Loki, American Dragon Bryan Danielson, Roderick Strong, the Young Bucks, Colt Cabana, the Briscoe Brothers, fucking AJ Styles. Let's see who else. At the time, he was a big thing. Homicide.
Dude,
Uh,
Homicide's still big. I kind
he's
of
still big.
like wasn't he on Lucha Underground?
No, that was
Oh, Hernandez. Jesus.
Hernandez. Yeah,
I am racist.
yeah, you are.
Isn't
Let's
it-
see.
no, Homicide's still big. I recognize him from TNA. Jeez.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But at the time, he was like the man to be feared. Like, oh shit, Homicide's gonna face Dragon at the next show. Fuck, this is gonna be intense.
And you can say, I'm sorry, Super Dragon.
Huh?
I'm sorry. You can also say Super Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. What the fuck are you apologizing to me for? He let himself go. All he does is rely on tag matches and gimmicks. Fat shit. So
Oh,
but when you have Germany chanting for you like you're a fucking god, and then going back the next year to where they're chanting same old shit and Super Dragon fatter, then you know that you should definitely make some changes.
make some changes or retire.
Yeah. But
Eh,
that's not gonna happen. He's gonna return. People are gonna shit themselves and buy the fucking high spots, and I'm just like, it's just another tag match. Everybody else is gonna do the work, and then he's gonna do the Psycho Driver.
it's,
Hogan.
yeah, it's not like he's gonna injure himself again. Jeez. Yeah, like plus he's become a meme too, so that's the other problem.
What is the meme for Dragon?
Chanting Super Dragon.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a
Yeah,
while.
I know.
Which he owes to Angry Fan, by the way. We used to call him Angry Fan.
Well, yeah,
Or-
and then he also owes now to Botchamania.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that has boosted it up.
Oh, for sure. Botchamania has helped Super Dragon more than he's done for his own career.
I believe I see him every other episode and that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
like not for the good reasons, not for like the Super Dragon chant, but because he is botching.
Yep. Oh, there's a match. Okay, there is a match.
Oh, jeez.
I think it's when he faced M Dog in a singles competition. This is early PWG.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I think
He makes this ungodly noise when he gets taken off of the turnbuckle. I believe he gets clotheslined, but if you listen closely, you hear him go, "Rah!"
Like Blanca from Street Fighter.
Sort of. Like if somebody squeezed Blanca's balls.
That's what I've related to it. I know exactly what you're talking about, but for the people listening,
Mm-hmm.
um, I die laughing
Yeah.
every single time.
Bruh! We rewound it several times. Like, oh shit! Look what he's. Listen to the noise. Listen to the noise. And we watched it like 4 times in a row, just laughing hard every fucking time.
We talked to this on the episode of Invasion podcast that does not exist anymore. The Undertaker doing the clothesline, that the same exact noise I related to the doop. Uh, a second. Yeah, a funny noise is made. Yeah, I'll play this again for you because I'm sure you want to hear this again. There we go.
Yep, I definitely want to hear this again. Let me get it here. Son of a bitch.
I related exactly to that, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just
Here's good.
while I'm on YouTube, I'm gonna Google Super Dragon, and the things
Okay.
that come up is Super Dragon Ball Z, Super Dragon Ball, and Super Dragon Chant. So I'm not lying when I say that he is basically a meme.
Oh, I believe you.
I googled Super Dragon and Uptown Funk comes up.
Okay.
Did they tag him it? And
I
that
don't know.
just like anything, he's tagged in something, and someone has to be the one that recover for him. Okay, so you've gotten your smile back at this point. Basically, Shawn Michaels 2002 return.
Yes, except mine's not that glorious, and the wrestling scene has died thanks to PWG.
Yeah, and I think it was around 2013 for a certain Royal Rumble marathon that you showed up for a certain stream company called New Legacy Inc.
Yes, my brother's at New Legacy. See, around the time that I was just trying to get back into things and just try to just enjoy life, I noticed this exchange on Twitter via Player Uno and 50-Foot Blake, to where he's like, "Hey, my birthday's coming up. What do you get me this?" And Blake's like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Hey, my birthday was this time," and blah blah blah. And then Blake's like, "Well, what would you like?" I'm like, "What?" And I remember thinking, like, I hope he's not serious. Like, I remember, like, okay, I'm just gonna give him like the most ridiculous thing ever, and it was an Akira replica jacket that Kaneda wore. So for you anime geeks out there, Kaneda
Yeah.
is the main protagonist of the story. Um, and it was like $700. I'm like, there's no fucking way he's doing this. And he came back. He goes, "Do you have anything cheaper?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. All right, cool." So I sold him like a copy of Max Payne 3, I guess. It's like, okay. And so Blake got me fucking Max Payne 3 for my birthday. I'm like, what the shit? So I remember talking to him about interspecies wrestling. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go in there one day. And I don't know what the hell it was, but Blake had a hand in me getting to interspecies wrestling that year. To where I was talking to Roch, and he's like, "Yeah, well, if you want, you can wrestle a match here. Just bring your gear." I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, you can wrestle for us. Like, we know who you are." I was like, "How? How do you know who I am?" And so going there, meeting up with Blake and everything for the first time, and still staying alive. I was just introduced by this entire group of amazing people. That's where I met Blake. That's where I met like everybody at the old school fucking Card Subject to Change network. That's how I met Fitzy from Hogan versus Flair, and it's Rainy
Yeah.
Mang, and like everybody from like that I now consider like my closest friends. I met them on this big weekend, and I just had this amazing time. And since then, like I would take a bullet for interspecies wrestling and Rachi. I take a bullet for Blake and Fitzy, and definitely would take a bullet for Vanessa Craven. Oh my god, I love that woman. She is fucking perfection. I love her to death.
I
Um,
I 100% agree with that.
dude, she is fucking beautiful and deadly. I love a woman who can kick my ass. Like, God, gorgeous. Um, but I remember we were driving back to the hotel from the show,
Right.
and Blake was telling me about New Legacy, and I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. Anything I might have seen? He goes, well, we did one of our big videos is Chocolate Drop. I'm like, dude, I know Chocolate Drop. I fucking love Chocolate Drop. And like, I just lost my shit. And he goes, dude, yeah, if you want to like just swing by at a broadcast, we'd be more than happy to have you. I'm like, dude, yeah, that'd be great. So around the time of the Royal Rumble marathon, I'm like, okay, here we go. They're either gonna like me or they're gonna fuck with me. Either way, I'm on defense. So
Right.
I went in and Johnny was there and Soundwave and Slip and fucking Duel and Jericho and like it was the most welcomed I've ever felt. Like
Yeah.
they would fuck around with me and I just let it. I'd fuck around with them back and just being myself and the fact that they knew who I was and they let me in and it really meant a lot. So I think I'm on my third year with them now and my schedule is not what she used to be, but anytime that I hear that I missed a broadcast because of work, I get so sad because like I want to be there for New Legacy every fucking time. And they're definitely one of those crews that I would take a bullet for. And without them, without Blake, without anybody that I mentioned, I probably would be not here anymore. And it really means a lot, everything they've done for me. And I'm trying to figure out some way of paying them back, even though they're like, dude, you don't have to do that. And that's just how I am. I'm a
You
very appreciative person of the people in my life and
you feel
very
like,
appreciative
yeah,
of them.
you yeah. You feel like they've basically in a way saved your life.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you're saying.
uh, they definitely did.
All right. I have some highlights from certain streams of New Legacy Inc. that I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
First off, right away, with the Royal Rumble marathon that you started off with, I wasn't sure if you started off with this, but I think it was.
Uh-huh.
This is this is the time where I was a lurker and didn't really talk to anybody on there because I really hated the chat, honestly. Um,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I mean, everybody has a point where they don't really know them, and they're just like, oh, "What the fuck is wrong with these people?"
Right,
And then you just kind of get comfortable with it.
right. I got comfortable with that after when 2K15 or 14 came out. That's when I
Hmm.
started because that's when I got the game and I was like, okay, I want to play with them and I want to talk to this chat and everything and yeah. Um, this moment is when Buff Bagwell came out and
Hmm.
you said the quote, "I'm buff and I can't feel my legs."
Yes.
That was the moment where I spit out my drink and immediately was like, "I love you." I was
Well, thank you.
I will stand to this day as a big Buff Bagwell mark for
Okay.
for all the wrong reasons.
All right. Well, everybody loved Day of the Warrior and Return to Savage Beach, so
Yeah, and if you watch, I watched the episode of Gigolos with him in there, just cause,
yeah.
and I listened to like the podcast about him. I'm gonna buy his film, and I don't even want to watch it, but I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
it anyway.
Okay.
Um, it's just one. That was just one of those moments where I was like, okay, I feel I'm starting to feel really comfortable with being a huge fan of New Legacy Inc.
Yeah. All from a terrible, horrible joke of
Yes.
wow.
Um, then we get to a couple moments where you start showing off your impersonations.
Hmm.
We get the unprofessional impersonator 1 and 2, which people have quoted many, many of times now.
Okay.
We have certain, of course, your most famous impersonation of Doug Basham, where no one knows where you're going at, but you are Asian.
Yeah, yes, that was most of the fact that I couldn't remember what the fuck Doug Basham sounded like, nor do I really remembered him doing any promos because was her name Shaniqua? She did all the talking.
Oh, yeah, that girl that like just beat him up and squared up a storm, and then got kicked out.
Yeah, like I think she said fuck or something on the air,
Yeah.
and she got thrown out. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know what the hell he sounded like, so I was like, all right, time to compromise. So I just came up with a really bad Asian accent, and it's like, hello, my name is Dog Bashim. And just random shit like that. I don't know why I made him that way, but it seemed to work. I remember because I think it's because I wanted to make them laugh because I'm like, okay, they want me to do impressions. I don't know what this fucking guy sounds like, so you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Um, and I guess it really paid off because, as you say, people were quoting it, and still to this day, when I do Kentagon Jr. on my broadcast, they still mention Doug Basham.
It's basically the same thing. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It pretty much is, and I feel terrible for
Yeah.
that.
Another video that I won as of course me and Gene 316 says fuck it,
Yeah.
um, which was a chat recommendation.
Hmm.
I forget who asked you that, but that was like well, it was kind of an easy thing to say because I remember was it like SummerSlam 90 was when he swore up a storm.
Yeah. When the Ultimate Warrior, it's the
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 sign.
sign had fallen. Folks, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it.
I
It's
swear
really, really upset.
every time you say fuck it on stream or whenever, the audio of Skype just loves to like decipher
To
it.
skip out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because at first I thought that was someone censoring you, and then just immediately like Johnny laughing.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. Then we have the freight train pipe bomb promo.
Yes. That one required some research because I needed the entire what do you call it? The entire promo, that way I could properly do it. That was the pipe bomb. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed doing as far as like an on the fly kind of thing. And they the response seemed to be very, very good, to the point where I think like Duel or somebody was fucking up on their run from because they were playing Doritos Crash Course 2.
One of the
So,
best games ever, by the way.
oh dude, it's an amazing, amazing game.
Like I wish the servers were up for that still. I'd play against you right now. Uh, and yeah, because during that moment, you also got said that you were going through different people, different voices, because strangely through the profiling, you also sounded like Mike Tyson, and you also sounded like I forget who.
Yeah,
Uh,
oh, supposed to be Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so honestly, what is the difference between the voices? I still can't understand.
Between Bobby Lashley and
Freight Train and Mike Tyson.
Freight Train says more like this, more slow, southern, all the stuff, kind of like Black Forest Gump, go smooth belly. Was the Mike Tyson? He tends to talk more with a lisp and sort of a closed mouth and stuff like that. And then who's the other one?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley. He's just as soft spoken, almost like Harriet Winslow. You a bastard. So
Oh, jeez. I think that last one almost sounds like a Black Dusty Rhodes.
yeah, pretty much. That's yeah.
is
Terrible.
is Bobby Lashley just a really clever impersonator?
I would like to think so.
He's doing Brock Lesnar, then he's now sound like Dusty Rhodes, and now he's trying to pretend to be a champion by being in TNA.
Ridiculous.
Okay. What else do I have? I have the SummerSlam 2013 simulation intro, where you
Okay.
pretend to be Joey Styles.
Yes. That was, I believe that was an idea of Johnny's because he liked when I would do my Joey Styles impression to where, because it started off as a joke to where I would just come up with the stupidest fucking matchups of, like, and I would mix the names too. That's it's like the Queen of Extreme, Bill Alfonso, is going to be taking on the Japanese buzzsaw, Joel Gertner. Who's been screwing with my notes? So he really wanted us to do
The entire
like
show.
The entire fucking show, yeah.
While Limp Bizkit's rolling, a remix with Thomas the Tank Engine is playing in the background.
Which was a phenomenal remix.
Best of New Legacy Inc. Video that was posted that as the first thing that shows up.
Nice.
So I think that shows something of merit. And throughout the entire this is how I absolutely decided I was a super fan was when this video came out. Throughout the video they would show the the Japanese buzzsaw Cody Rhodes, and then they're like, oh, that's good enough, close enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it when they play along. A lot of the times it's like, that's fucking stupid. So, but I love them for that too, because like I'll get the truth from them, and whether they like it or not, I'm still happy that I do the things that I do. So,
they have Dino and Duo plays Family Feud, if you remember this.
yes, I do.
I'm going to talk about the moment where you become an entire Asian family.
Yes, that was mainly because I was tired and I was just going to do the Doug Basham the entire time. But it did look like an Asian family, at least from what I remembered. What?
You were playing. I think you were playing as the Ching Chongs.
Yes, that was. I can't remember whose idea that was.
Well, you're playing as someone else's save, if I remember that too. Right too.
It was, and I'm like, okay, well, time to fucking make lemonade.
Oh. That's what I feel like that when Jericho's streaming, that's what happens. Or when you're streaming with like Caveman, you're on the spot.
Yep, and that's the best you can do. Just fucking go with it.
You're gonna say something you didn't want to say, but you're gonna say it anyway.
Yeah.
And then, of course, going to Caveman now, the Ugly Pro Golf Tour with you ruining golf.
Yes.
I cannot sit through this. I'm sorry, but it's just I love golf, and it's just too funny.
Really? You're the first person I know that really enjoys golf.
I grew up loving Tiger Woods.
Oh, okay.
And when I was a kid, I only watched Happy Gilmore, and I wanted me to be a golfer when I was like 6 years old.
Excellent.
I could still chip out anyone and putt in and everything. I could beat everybody. Can't drive for shit though.
Oh.
Yeah. Like if I've ever.
So you would have beaten Shooter McGavin.
Probably.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, no one could beat Christopher McDonald, but that's my own opinion.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. You showed off your Paul Heyman voice at this point.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Now you have done Paul Heyman voices throughout a lot of streams, including one of them where I can't remember where it was, but someone was saying that you're just doing what's his name, Gilbert Gottfried impression.
Yeah, I'm like they're totally different.
And you were responding like, "Oh, you want me to do a Gilbert Gottfried impression?" Yeah, I'm the parrot from Aladdin.
Yeah.
And then just everyone cannot stop laughing. We have some more recent moments. WWE 2K14 with the Universe mode, and you and K. Malik Shabazz Austin. The unsung hero of WWE 2K14. The man that this person immediately loved by everybody.
Yeah, that was a surprise in itself. I'm just like, you know what? I'm bored. I want to do a nation gimmick, and I'm trying to remember if this was like based off of a suggestion of somebody's or some sorts. But I remember I was doinking everybody's gear at that time. Doinking is when you just make everybody's gear completely random different colors. You put them in rainbow clothes. Like you try to make them look like clowns as much as possible.
Right.
So I was doinking clothes and I ended up giving Austin like a lot of Nubian and African revolutionary colors. And I was just like, wow, Snakeshin. Snakeshin. Okay, Snakeshin domination. And he wants to fight the man. No, he wants to fight Deborah. And you know what? We're going to put everybody with a snake gimmick in there. We're going to put Randy Orton, Jake the Snake, fucking Santino. And I think like later on it was the Great Khali. But yeah, I mean, that was. I still watch that video from time to time because it's like my favorite reaction from like Johnny and everybody else that this whole fucking stupid idea that I came up with of Austin pretending to be black and being held down by the white woman and starting a revolutionary clique known as the Snakeshin of Domination of Deborah. So since then, it's been one of my favorite characters.
Oh, and that took off on its own, with basically the entire universe almost revolving around him, rather than what it was the GM that won the first match, Sin Cara, and the entire pay-per-views. This was around the moment where I decided, okay, I'm gonna rear my head and finally and donate and pay my dues for basically years of entertainment. And this is when I learned that I absolutely love you. I'll say that to you, to your face, if we ever meet.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take it for granted or whatever. I don't care.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, in the end, it all went to hell and Jesus. Storyline with 2K15 and then merging with 2K16, but that's another story for another day.
Exactly, because it's still ongoing.
So. Right. Oh, we can talk about 2K15 though. Where did you come up with the idea of Dario Culo?
Dario Culo was, I think, a slip up. Like we fucked up, and instead of putting Coelho, I put Culo or whatever. And Johnny, I think, wanted to make it a full thing. Like, which is a lot of the ideas that I find since being a New Legacy. We're dicking around, we start mentioning these things, and then they become gimmicks. And I started working on a Dario Cueto impression, and I just became Dario Culo. And I mean, it got to the point where people were starting to just want to hear Dario, and I'm like, I don't want to talk in that voice anymore. And as it progressed, I mean, if you guys watch the New Legacy season finale, he's gone, but he's not. I want to believe that he's not dead, but it's just that he's not there right now. So,
my honest belief is that he is going to come back in some form of storyline. Because he probably has already, and I don't even know because I haven't watched the last few episodes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep. So I have those impressions down right away. And then we also have one of my more funny moments for the wrong reasons, which is when Vince Russo showed up for the first time and you didn't believe it.
Yeah. It was horseshit because I got in a call. I was driving home from a show, and I got in a call from Johnny. He's like, dude, I just wanted to tell you Vince Russo was on our stream. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, I was just really upset. I'm like, why are you fucking with me, man? And as it turns out, he did. He somehow heard about us, and
yeah.
I mean, I had my reservations about him already. Then it wasn't until we started talking about the state of wrestling that I started getting defensive. So I will go on record saying whenever Vince Russo is on a New Legacy stream, I will probably make it as uncomfortable as possible. So
Oh, and well, especially since now probably everyone wants like, oh, Dino, you got to do your Russo impression in front of him.
that was really putting me on the spot too, because the next year, um,
That's all people wanted.
yeah, that was all they wanted, and so I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll just do it. If he says something, then I got a lot of ammunition on him. So, and Johnny decided to point it out, and Russo reacted the way he did, and I reacted the way that I did by saying that his booking is terrible. So,
Which I think luckily got overshadowed when Juris Cottonbelly came in.
yeah,
Which I felt like was a grace for you because you sounded like you wanted nothing to do with this.
yeah. That when it happened, I'm just like, okay, if he continues to keep going with it or whatever, I'm gonna rip him a new asshole. And luckily, Jervis came in and made everybody delightful because that man is a delightful individual.
And we also heard from rest in peace, Cindy Bacabella,
Mm-hmm.
who I think is one of the which that was just a Sparky Plug Holly driving by.
Exactly.
And when we heard from him, like I always loved him because of Devastation um, Corporation is just great.
Yeah.
And when we first heard, and he was like, "Oh, I'm calling you guys, but it's costing me 11, bucks a minute," and throws his phone on the ground. I'm like, okay, what is this call right now? We got Bacabella, Jervis, Vince Russo. Oh my god! And I've already known from a couple of charity streams that I've done that having more than 5 people in a call is the worst feeling in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will not get any point of view across. You will not be able to say anything, and it will usually be derailed.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. I mean, even if you're like at a wrestling show and you're commentating, you're still running a risk of it with 3 people. So imagine a phone call with 5 people in it.
Right.
It's all over the place.
At least with an interview or with, like even commentary, you can at least, edit bits out.
Mm-hmm.
But like people are gonna be like, "Oh, what did he say?" There's like a big, huge chunk of silence. Was he being racist right now, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you think of any other highlights that you can think of off the top of your head with New Legacy Inc.?
There's been moments where I've completely lost my shit and not been able to control my laugh.
Oh, I got one for you. Jactus Cack.
Jactus Cack is it's genius, along with Blackness Black and I remember the first time I remember completely losing my shit was when Jericho said "Sweet on Bomb."
Sweet on.
I fucking lost it. I don't know why I lost it, but the fact that I was like, it's a Swanton Bomb, not Sweet on. But instead, it just came out as giggling gibberish. So.
Oh, gee. Oh my god. Okay. I would also like to talk about the pilot episode and the only episode of NXT.
Yes.
I hope that it stays as the only episode, and that in 2K16 you do one more episode, and that's it. Just
that
for
might
each.
Be. I mean,
just,
it's not my show to begin with, but I mean, I strongly believe that Johnny has a vision, and that might be it. So.
And everyone's name being reconfigured, like Gunner is.
Gunner is Magnus and Magnus is Gunner.
Or Bram.
Or Bram. There we go. Bram, yeah.
Bram's with Charlotte Flair. I didn't know about that until a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, really? You're the daughter of Ric Flair and you're with Bram? You could be with anybody. You could be with Randy Orton if you wanted to.
She's not that hot, though.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
She's going to take him to Space Mountain.
Oh my god, she pulls out her dick.
just 24-inch, double-sided dildo.
She's got her father's ass, which looks like a deflated pancake. So,
Hey, like in the glory days, like in '92, I'm saying that ass looked pretty good.
okay, you've done your homework. So,
I've watched too much wrestling. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, there. And for those of you listening, there is such thing as watching too much wrestling. You will get tired of it eventually.
Eventually, like when you see Roman Reigns, you're just like, oh, that little shit again.
Like, oh fuck, I've been watching this for too long.
Like, well, I want Cena again. That's when you know it's bad. Is when you like, I want Cena again.
Yeah, hell, the fucking crowd was chanting that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, so with we were also talking about that, and then we got a Snork on Saturday.
Yes, Snork on Saturday is one of my favorite collaborations. That's 50 Foot Blake's wonderful show, which the theme song was an idea that we talked about when we met in Connecticut. I was like, I always had this, do you know the song "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains? Because oh yeah, it's a great song. I'm like, yeah, me and my friend Leroy, formerly of XPW,
Yeah,
RCG, were like, we had this idea um, of just the beginning of that song, like the first 20
yeah.
seconds or anything like that, looped for an hour to where people don't know when the hell the song is going to start. And then towards the end, it starts to sing the vocals, but then the song fades out. So, luckily enough, 50 Foot Blake decided to put his skills to use. And there is an hour-long loop of the Snort Gun Saturday Night theme, which is just continuously dun, 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 dun,
With
for
the love of Gary Busey too.
yep, it's a full hour of that shit.
We need to talk about Gary Busey. Do you know what is up with the obsession of Gary Busey?
I do not know what the obsession is. The only thing that I have to offer for as far as knowledge of Gary Busey is that I got paid to do an impression of him in a low budget horror movie. So
Yeah, that's another thing I like to talk about. Your forte in or your whatever they call it, the just dipping your toes into movies.
mhm.
I can't remember, but I've talked to many people at conventions about the Ginger Dead Man versus I can't remember the name right now because
Evil Bong.
Evil Bong versus the Ginger Dead Man. And people were like, "Oh, I like," because I talked to a lot of people who love those grindhouse like movies where like they're basically just movies you would find at a car wash for $5,
Yeah.
and like I have never like I've actually never seen the movie. I've only seen the trailer, and I've just told everyone I watched it. I will tell you that right now, but the trailer seems like the movie.
Yeah, pretty much the trailer is the movie because that particular film, it is like seriously a gigantic commercial. It is just a commercial for Full Moon merchandise and highlights most of the previous films. Like there's no real forwarding plot to it.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic experience. I got paid to do an impression, and I did like a couple of more projects for Full Moon features. And
Which technically you've been in a movie with Tommy Chong and Gary Busey.
yes.
Just think about that.
Also, I've been in a movie with Karen Black and Stacy Keach. So
Karen
it
Black.
works.
Credited as Bob Ramos, by the way.
Yep, sure is because they didn't really ask me. So
Yeah. You were also in Ooga Booga.
yes, I was. I was the voice of Uga. Shit.
You should be at Nickelodeon, just doing voice work. I'll talk to Maurice LaMarche, and maybe he'll do something for you.
I would need links to that, and I definitely would be happy to do that.
Because, like I said, I have a terrible habit of frequenting different cons. Because that's what I like to do with my money, spend $500 at a convention.
Of course.
Yeah, and I've talked to Maurice LaMarche, I've talked to Phil Lamar, nicest guy in the world.
Nice.
Yeah, and just about starting podcasts and because I watched that movie. I know that voice. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, like that. Basically, them. It's like they're like I was talking with Pitt and they're like, "Oh, you should do a podcast." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." Then I watched that and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." um, you're also in Evil Bong 420 as both Ooga Booga and the Ginger Dead Man.
Yes, that was double the work for a singular payday. So,
I would just be happy for the money.
oh, dude, totally, totally. Again, it was just me coming in, redoing some stuff, and that one I believe had a little more plot to it than the last one. But I mean, the most of the movies that I had seen, like I saw Evil Bong versus Ginger Dead Man at a little theater that they screened when it was finished being edited and everything.
Right.
And then with the other one, I just saw whatever they put in front of me to voice. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to come out here for this. Plus, like, I was seeing somebody at the time who worked in the company shipping room or whatever, and she broke my heart. So I wasn't going to go to the fucking premiere for that.
Yeah, especially since that all that just happened for you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then there's a movie coming out soon called Super Scorpion City. Super Scorpion City.
Yeah, Super Scorpion City is a project idea of my buddy Leroy Patterson, very talented individual. Um, it was a show pilot that he's still shopping around about this group of three friends who are going through their everyday problems and trials and tribulations. However, they live in a city that is completely overrun by gigantic scorpions. So it's like one of the plot devices is that myself, I'm trying to find one, and every time I bring a girl over, I open a window, and in comes a gigantic scorpion tail killing her. So
Oh, jeez.
it's an interesting pilot, to say the least. If you like Adult Swim type shows, then this is definitely the show for you. I do believe you can find the pilot online. Just look up Super Scorpion City on YouTube, and yeah, so hopefully that'll get picked up for something.
Yeah. I looked it up right away. Pilot episode Super Scorpion City.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You'll see some familiar faces in there from XPW as well. So
yeah. Yeah, because I looked at the IMDb because that's what all I do is research and research. When
that's
I got
good.
yeah, when I got nothing else to do, and then of course while I'm interviewing you, I'm researching, which sucks because then it's like I'm listening to what you're saying. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, and then a UPG tour, Dino Winwood. uh, yeah, so you um so that's why you're still in California because you're still dipping your toes in the world of Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow I have an audition for a reality show that got pushed back and then pushed forward and then pushed back, and then I wasn't expecting to have it until like the first week of January, but now they're like, "Hey, we need you to come in tomorrow if that's okay." I'm like, "All right, fine. I already took off work, so now I got to take off another day." So, but I didn't tell them that. Don't ever tell a casting crew your inconvenience, because then they'll consider it a bad attitude. Because far be it for you to have a job. So,
Okay, because what you're doing right now, auditioning, is a job.
yeah, pretty fucking much.
Yeah. So you've been so with is it like an interview process or an audition process? Or
It
like
seems like it's an audition process because it's a show that requires impressionists to do their skills. I don't know the name of it. I don't know any other details about it, but even if
okay.
I did, I don't think I'd be able to
Disclose that
talk
right now
about it too much. Yeah.
until probably you get canned and then you see it on
Then
TV and
I'll.
you're like, oh, I guess I did it for that.
Mm-hmm.
So so we expect to see on like 12 o'clock on ABC probably.
Yeah.
Like along with like Christmas Light Show or something. All that competition, and that Desperate Housewives and everything.
Oh yes, that's old horse.
Yeah, always love the slots.
Horse.
uh, yeah. So let's talk about Here, WFWF,
Okay.
which is initials for people who don't know, is well, fans were fucked.
Yes. WFWF, well, fans were fucked. The saying originally came from me doing commentary with New Legacy, to where the connection would either fuck up or there would be a glitch. So, to where I would put on my announcer voice and simply just tell them, well, fans, we're fucked. So, that became like a bit of a catchphrase that a lot of people in the New Legacy fan base like to use whenever there's a glitch. And so, when we'd switched over to PlayStation 4, we were given the streaming technology. So where I was starting to think, well, maybe I could do an eFed of some sorts.
Something to
And
kill time.
yes, just something to kill time, not think about bad things or bad people. And I just started coming up with different types of characters. I'm like, okay, I need to make it a little more charming. Like, I can't just put regular ass people out there and have a good match. Like, no. If I learned anything for New Legacy, it's you got to make it your own. So I came up with the characters of like West Hollywood Hogan, and the new Shield type crew is called the Dune with Kama Mustafa, and no, it's Colonel Mustafa, General Adnan, and Sergeant Slaughter. And then the Naked Boy Ric Flair, which was something I was very proud of, and Andre the Gorgeous, the first ever Exotico in WFWF.
And of course, was there a hard transition going from 15 to 16? Or
No, well, the transition of 15 to 16, because 15, I remember we had what I called the season finale of season 1 of WFWF, and in that time, I looked through the roster to think of different gimmicks to give people, so that way when the game finally rolled around, I could go ahead and make those particular characters and crews and work my magic.
I can't remember. Did 15 and 16 do something where you could transfer universes, or is that not a thing?
I do believe it is not a thing to transfer things over and make it part of your universe. Um,
I'm surprised that. Well, I'm actually really not, but they really dropped the ball on doing that because I feel like that if they did, they would probably keep a lot more people,
yeah,
especially with people like New Legacy Inc. and you. Probably. I think OT. Does he do it in 16? I can't remember.
mm,
I I sadly I will only watch a few episodes of OT. But he does great work though. Like
excellent.
yeah. So we've covered basically almost your entire career. Do you think there's anything that you want to talk about that um might need to be talked about?
Mm. Trying to think, actually. No, we covered a lot. We covered a lot today. So,
Yeah. I
I mean,
do you have a let's see, you definitely have a Twitter.
yes, I do. I'm at Naughty Bobby on Twitter.
I have you at Dino Winwood.
Oh yeah, I am at Dino Winwood. Fuck me.
There's some
I
girl as
recently
Naughty
changed
Bobby.
it. Yeah, some girl's Naughty Bobby now. No, I am at Dino Winwood on Twitter. So
Let's see, Naughty Bobby. Yeah, Naughty Bobby Kim is not Naughty Bobby.
oh, well then try at Dino Winwood, see if that works.
Yeah, Dino Winwood. There we go. Yep, got you right here.
Hooray! Excellent.
At Dino Winwood.
Yes, sir.
You have Facebook?
Yes, I am at Facebook. You can look me up at. Let's take a look here. As you can see, I'm always on it because I don't know it. Um, come on, you bastard. Oh yes, you can just look me up at Dino Winwood on Facebook. So
Yep. You search up and Die Shamrock Die pops up.
yep, that is definitely me. That's some of the amazing WFWF artwork done by Mr. Brody Libre.
He's a really nice guy.
He's a fucking phenomenal guy. I love him.
I've talked to him a few times, and oh, nice guy. And yeah, you can see that your favorite movies include Pin, A Plastic Nightmare, Cooties, Tusk, Demons, and WNUF Halloween.
Yep.
I've not seen Tusk, but yet I've talked to Justin Long multiple times.
Wow.
Not talked to his girlfriend yet. Mm,
What's his girlfriend?
Amanda Seyfried.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm
That's
not.
bullshit.
I'm not kidding you.
So you mean to tell me that the dweeby funny guys get the hot chicks in the
Yeah.
end?
The guy from Accepted is now dating the hot girl from Mean Girls.
Hell, the guy who ate the mushrooms in Super Troopers is married to Christina Hendricks.
Yeah,
And boobs. So
yeah,
yeah, I'll believe it when it happens to me. Otherwise, it's just Hollywood bullshit.
yeah.
So
Next thing you know, you're with Lindsay Lohan on a drug binge.
I'd still fuck with her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like you don't even understand. Like I've had Justin Long ask me like where he could get pot, and I'm like, well, you're asking me who probably smokes like in college, and that's it.
It's like you're a celebrity. What the fuck you asking me for?
Yeah. Well, because also there's like 200 people where I live, so
Okay.
so everyone knows everybody. Oh, so okay, Twitter, Facebook. You don't have a Reddit. You have an Instagram?
Yes, I do. My Instagram is new. So I just recently got a smartphone. So that's shows you how up with the times I am.
What what brand may I ask?
Hmm. Samsung Galaxy 3.
Oh, that's not bad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's free. It's a gift from a friend who had a bunch of them from his job, and he just goes, "Yeah, I have a bunch of these, and we don't really use them. So you want one?" But I am at Dizzle Whizzle 983.
I'll type that in Google later. While looking that up, I found your New Legacy Inc. wiki page.
Oh, really? There is one.
Yeah, it's right here. I did not know about this, and I wish I had it because this would have been a good thing to follow. And now this will probably be updated after this.
Cool.
Yeah, you did a CM Punk pipe bomb as Freight Train, as a renowned for his ability to ruin sports with his commentary. Former FUC champion.
Yes, I missed the FUC. I might have to bring that back or crossover maybe.
Yeah, you probably will when the new they throw in another UFC game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know when it's going to come out. Probably Rousey on the cover too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even if she lost. Or
I
whatever.
can fap to it. That's fine.
Your YouTube, Popo the Chan.
Yes, sir. That's where you can find some WFWF goodness. Our season 1, our entire season 1, and ongoing season 2 is on there. So there's definitely some 5-star matches on there, though.
Yep. Saturday Night Wood, Bam Bam's Not in Control. Some nice highlights. And of course, some of your impressions too.
Yep, some of my impressions are on there, and if you don't see any on there, I recommend checking out, searching Naughty Bobby Ramos on YouTube, where you will find a page that I'm not in charge of, but it has a lot of my voice impressions on there. So,
one more thing I got to bring up. You used to have a podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the Squared Circle Jerks.
Yeah, Squared Circle Jerks. I miss it very much. However, since my producer Ben got into a car accident and got himself a girlfriend, I had to do it on my own, and it got really boring talking to myself, so I kind of just closed shop on it. But I've been getting the urge. I've been thinking of maybe kicking around the idea and maybe seeing who would want to do it with me, because I sure as shit I am not doing it by myself. It's so boring talking to yourself.
You cannot do it by yourself. There's absolutely no way.
Exactly.
I even tried to do a stream by myself for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And then Pitt was like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom, so I just ended the stream and just left.
That's good.
Oh, it sucks. It really does. But talking about wrestling by yourself is just basically filleting yourself in the end.
Yeah, it sounds like it's fun, but it's really not.
And then in the end, you're just blowing yourself.
Yep.
Where a lot of people love to post your Carlito impression.
Oh yes, Carlito Caribbean Considerate.
Yes, that, and of course the Cult of Polly Dangerously, which I think has become a little meme in the little like New Legacy crowd
Awesome.
impersonations of the Yin Yang. Of course, I'm going to end this entire interview with your impression of "Nothing Compares to You," which at which at one point was cited in Wikipedia.
Really
Yes, as
interesting.
a cover, but it has been taken down due to be to quote Super Dragon irrelevant.
Yeah, fucking shit.
And you have yeah, because I remember listening to Squared Soko Jerks around before I ended going to college
Oh,
and
okay.
catching up to it, and um, then I was like, well, why isn't there any more? You're talking about Daniel Bryan and everything, and then it's done. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
WWE shut me down. Apparently, I made a big enough racket that they were paying attention.
Yeah. Then of course we got to talk about another thing that like was out of the blue. Can we just before I end this, Dino sings a Christmas album.
Yes, that was just an idea. I mean, people liked when I would do songs as specific people, and I remember talking with everybody at New Legacy saying, "Hey, we should do something for Christmas. Like maybe we should do an album." And Duel, bless him, man, Duel really stepped up to it and made that a reality. Like I couldn't have done it without him. And yeah, so that exists. It's on YouTube. I might repost it right now just to remind everybody that Christmas is here.
And certainly you're not doing another one. No, that might tell you
Not right now. Not right now. No.
I think I have another thing that you did with audio. I think I have it somewhere.
What, the David Bowie Christmas?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That was a rough one.
Yeah. You're like, I'm just gonna post it here and just forget about it.
Yeah, because there was so many trouble going into it with like audio issues and syncing it up with the music and whatnot, and then like, oh, you can't use this karaoke track because it's copywritten. I'm like, what? What kind of shit is this? So
Yeah. It's kind of like that song that was all complete silence that someone copyrighted, so I muted it.
yeah,
Just a complete irony.
fucking assholes.
Yeah. I forget what song it is. It was on Reddit the other day. I don't know.
Uh,
Well, I was looking at it while I was at work.
awesome.
Yeah. All right. So to end it all out, we've mentioned your websites. We mentioned this. We've gone through basically everything. We've gone through all my notes.
Yeah.
I think we can call it a day.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, you can catch me on the Invasion Podcast, which is at vimeo.com/Invasion Podcast, which you might hear Dino once in a great while from that too.
Completely going off subject with it.
Yeah, either that or from splicing you in there. I think we spliced you in when on the most recent episode, which is Stone Cold Appreciation Night with the cookies.
Oh no.
I don't know if Pitt went and did it or not, but I asked him, please, could you just do his, oh, I got you some cookies. God damn it, Deborah.
Yeah. Yes. Ow.
Yeah.
Just like
I really don't know it. Well, we've always done that. We did the RMVD.
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my other favorite moment, which is when you're like, oh, RVD's back, and Johnny just no sells. And it's like, oh yeah, he's dead, and you're like, oh, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Okay, he just flew out of here. Oh, I think when you started doing impressions, just everyone else had to feel like they had to catch up to you.
Yeah, I love doing the things that I do, and I love the fact that my friends go along with it, and even if they don't, I try to make sure that I don't completely overshadow to the best of my ability.
Right.
But
Then
but yeah.
you can catch me on Twitter at TJ_Light. I also have a YouTube. And I don't really care for it. It's got almost 100 subscribers, but I'll post things once in a while from there. You're probably hearing this on the Vimeo channel, so you probably already know that. But if not, you're also listening to this on iTunes, which that gimmick is hard to do. If you ever try to put something on iTunes, it feels like going through an arm and a leg, just throwing it at people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can follow that. Just Google Invasion Pod or search Invasion Podcast because you can't Google on iTunes. um, and you should find it. Should be the second or third one. You should see Vince McMahon's face. Totally copyrighted, but I don't care. Um, and you can just catch me around New Legacy Inc. streams.
Yep.
If you like to plug New Legacy Inc. and other stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could catch me at New Legacy Inc. for once in a while, and well, maybe more soon. My shifts at Loot Crate are kind of shortening out now. You can catch me on Twitch or YouTube at Popo the Chan. That's the WFWF Netwood. And maybe you'll see me on television soon. Fingers crossed. So.
Yeah. You also have a Patreon?
Oh, yes, I have a Patreon for WFWF Netwood. It's at the bottom of my Twitch page for the network, or the Netwood. And yeah, I mean, just $1, $5, whatever. One time or monthly, it's greatly appreciated. If not, then just spread the word about it. I mean, I would love to get the numbers up on the Netwood and get a more bigger fan base. So
yeah. Regardless, it has been great talking to you, Dino.
Thank you. It's been great talking to you too. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah. Because of course, when talking to you, you've obviously said you had the urge, and I was like, okay, let's do an interview. Because like I said, I want to know more. I need to know more.
Yeah, for sure. And if you come up with other questions, I'll be back. So
yeah, you'll be around. So
yeah.
Right. So it's goodbye from the Gamebox.
All right. OU818.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
All right. Let me end it on my other computer. Oops.
All right. Just check my phone.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone.
It's been so lonely without you here. Like a bird without a song. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? I could put my arms around every boy I see, but they'd only remind me of you. I went to the doctor, and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, "Girl, you better try to have some fun no matter what you do." But he's a fool, 'cause nothing compares. Nothing compares to you. All these flowers you planted, Mama, in the backyard of the Hammerstein Ballroom, all died when you went away. I know that living with your baby was sometimes hard, but I'm willing to give it another try. 'Cause nothing compares. Nothing compares to you. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to you.